And welcome. Football season is here. Eric Lopez here alongside Andrew Glukoff. This is our Black and Gold Banneret. Watch along, follow along, however you want to title it. It's all the same, folks. Football is here. Me and Drew are going to watch this game with y'all. And if you, of course, have ESPN Plus, feel free to watch it with us. If you don't have ESPN Plus, well, that's why we're here. We can help you figure out what's going on, Drew. Drew, we're finally set here, a couple minutes away from kick.
Yep, a little bit of weather delay. I mean, we've heard that one before, but it looks like it only delayed the game for about 5 minutes. So it's very close to getting going on the 22 college football season. I'm really excited. I mean, and how can you not be excited? It's the start of the American Swan Song for UCF.
It is now. It was raining most of the day, but it's kind of started to clear up a little bit.
The real question is, how wet is that field going to be? I know the drainage is pretty good. They've had to deal with some adversity before. I mean, I was there for the Marshall monsoon. I was there for the whole game. So they've dealt with bad weather situations before. So, I mean, but this is, UCF's going to be a running-based team, and that plays in favor of bad field conditions. So, we were hoping to kind of see them, go through the motions of getting guys playing time and reps and stuff, not too much creative stuff because they don't want to show too much ahead of next week's game. But it's an opportunity also to get those running backs some action.
Getting set for kickoff here. They show Gus. It's got the white polo going, little visor.
Showing the South Carolina State sideline. Buddy Pugh has been coaching for over 2 decades at South Carolina State, one of the longest tenured coaches out there. And they're showing from the opposite end zone, the bounce is in effect. Those cameras are moving. And, you've been there. I remember the first time I was in the press box, I was like, whoa, okay, I knew it moved a bit. It's obviously different when you're up there versus when you're in the stands. When you're in the stands, you kind of expect you feel the trampoline effect. Like I always joked, if you time it right, you can jump twice as high. But up in the press box, things kind of sway a little bit. It took a little bit to get used to. But it looks like UCF's going to receive the kick. South Carolina State is lining up.
Do you like the gear? You like the jersey look real quick? Do you like the look?
I'm going to have to see more of it. I mean, obviously, I do kind of miss the TV numbers. It makes the shoulders that look a little bare. But let's give it a little bit and see how it looks as the game is officially underway. And we're going to have a return. Let's see. It's actually a pretty good return for Trillian Coles up to the 30-yard line. It was a short kick, but it's good to see him get some action there, kind of buried on the running back depth chart. This is a really deep running back.
Well, that's why you got to find other areas for them to contribute. And here's the moment here, Drew, that everybody's waiting for.
Yeah,
John Rice Plumlee
coming out on the field, lining up in the offensive backfield. I'm going to go back. We got a chance to talk about those uniforms. I miss shoulder. They got to put something on the shoulders. It's missing something. But these are not a permanent solution on the uniform front. These will probably last a couple of years. And the first play goes to
handoff.
Bowser, expected running play, and
3 to 4 yards there. Yeah,
as we heard. The linebackers for it's about 3-yard gain. Linebackers for South Carolina State, they're going to be tested, and lo and behold, the second play was a pass to Bowser. Bowser takes it out over the 40 for a first down. That was nice.
It's a good check down, right? A good check down there.
It was. Bowser went over, flared to the left. Plumlee followed him and had a lot of time. He was able to kind of pick his spot, realize, and both guys, Plumlee wasn't at risk, and Bowser was wide open. And we're going to get a false start call on UCF.
First one, 3 plays into the season.
Yeah, that was an easy call. I mean, he was about half a step in front of everybody else. All right, so the the man who wrote the book on the no huddle offense, Gus Malzahn, had the team run in a no huddle formation. And
play action there. Nice screen there. Nice play. Picks up some yardage.
Some smart wide receiver screen, and they were able to get a lineman successfully over. Unfortunately, he missed the block. He missed the block, but at least you're seeing the proper movement of the lineman, particularly the left tackle.
2nd and 7 here.
And UCF getting on to the South Carolina State sideline, side of the field, rather, cracking the 50. And
Bowser with the carry there, got a few yards.
Immediately getting back on the line to run the next play.
3rd down.
And you're up. Here comes the Plumlee effect, and he runs for a 1st down. That was a smart play. The defense crashed down on Bowser.
This is a big part why he's the starter, isn't it, Drew? I mean, this is a big part right here.
Oh, absolutely. Left tackle block. Basically, the gap was wide open on the left tackle side. Bowser gets derailed on a fake handoff, and Plumlee uses not only his speed but his shiftiness to take what should have been maybe a 2-yard gain and turn it into a 1st down.
I think that's a play we're going to see that just didn't exist in this offense last year with Keene or Gabriel, in my opinion. This is going to be effective play for them throughout the season with Plumlee. They ran a play there, 2nd down, another run up the middle,
and really didn't get anything.
Didn't get a push there at all from the line there.
Well, we're seeing the ends, and this was something that Lige Duzable, who's actually the analyst for the game, said to us during an interview beforehand on the podcast, that those outside guys, they're good and they're going to work those tackles. And I'm already watching right now, number 71, the left tackle, is getting absolutely worked. But John Rice Plumlee is showing why he's the starter. He turned 2 would-be sacks into a huge gain into the red zone. Huge.
That's a special play. Yep. That's a special play right there. That could be a play there that's kind of a signature moment there where he secures, who knows, but look at this. I mean, again, there's nobody on this roster that can make this play. Mikey Keene can't make this play.
With a great downfield block. We got 1st and goal, but basically Tylen Grable, the left tackle, was double teamed and guys got through, and that's what almost created a sack. A slower player would have been sacked on that. Absolutely.
Lonely Bumblebee checking in. Okay, that's enough, Bowser. Take him out. How much do you want to see of Bowser? That's an interesting point Lonely Bumblebee is bringing up. How much do you want to see from Bowser tonight? Because you got to be careful.
I would say
right?
no more than 15 carries. He shouldn't even play in the second half, in my opinion. You got to get him some reps, especially as he gets some of the quirks. And Plumlee touchdown pass. Who is that? Number 1 is that Baker?
The touchdown maker. Touchdown UCF there. Beautiful throw. 3 for 3 on the drive for Plumlee for all the critics who say he can't throw.
And I hear my wife screaming, "Go Knights" in the background. I think that was Javon Baker with that touchdown.
Javon Baker, yeah. Slant, easy touchdown. Beautiful throw right where it needs to be.
Are you delayed? No. Oh.
No, in fact,
she's asking if I'm delayed. No, I knew.
No, actually, you're ahead of me. You're ahead of me. I'm like, that's why you're doing most of the play-by-play, because you're like a half second ahead of me. So,
well, I've got it loaded up on my desktop. My desktop is directly hooked into my internet provider. I've got 400 up and down. So, I mean, I've got a good connection here.
You definitely do. I will give you credit.
Don't have the Wi-Fi delay that's going on, but
Well, great start to the season. A drive that goes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 50 seconds. Plumlee with the touchdown pass, 7-0 UCF with 11:10 to go in the first quarter.
Right, and he looks solid on that one. I mean, that was the first pass towards a wide receiver, and it was just a slant.
Baker, who was my pick for the breakout.
Yeah, it was kind of like not quite a full post, but more of like a deep in. On that pass, right on the inside. No one. It was either Baker or no one who had a shot at that ball. A lot of good pass protection on that play. He had plenty of time, wasn't rushed. And the other thing was when the receiver wasn't open, he was utilizing the checkdowns. He either used his legs, which we've seen, and he used Bowser on a check down and made first downs on both plays. So very good playmaking decision on this first drive by John Rice Plumlee. And we got a 7-0 UCF lead, 11-10 to go, and South Carolina State will get a touchback.
By the way, folks, again, send your comments throughout the game. We're going to be on throughout the game. We're going to do night shift after the game in a different feed on our YouTube channel. We'll be on the Twitter and on Facebook. We're going to have guests on this watch-along. We're hoping to have Trey Neal around halftime, former UCF defense back. I think you know his resume. And then Adam Eaton from Sons of UCF. He played. Had a kind of an important interception, I recall. And then Adam Eaton of Sons of UCF, podcast host, will join us at around the start of the fourth quarter here. So hopefully by that point we will, not have too much to talk about this game. But we'll see. Now South Carolina State has the ball here at the 25, down 7.
First play, looks like Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste, who's going to be a major contributor this year, basically stops him just past the line of scrimmage. It was a good – he came off the far side, was able to avoid behind the right guard and make that tackle right as the running back was crossing the line of scrimmage. So short gain, maybe a yard, if that. So we got a 2nd and 9, but that was good penetration and a very solid tackle.
What's your thoughts on the linebacking crew here?
Well, we're about to see. As 2nd down, looks like Tremont Morris Brash basically upended the running back running to the same side, no gain. I mean, he basically just went airborne. And it looked like Morris Brash barely had to throw him, and he just went flying. As far as the linebacking core, the good news is UCF's doing what they did last year, where they have a flex position from the defensive backfield. They're called the Knight. So they're kind of running something in between a 4-3 and a nickel, and they can change the guy without having to change personnel. And I've got the depth chart out, so I believe it was Justin Hodges, and that's actually the guy who made the tackle right there, preventing the conversion and thus creating a 4th down situation for the Bulldogs.
That's a good tackle one-on-one there. Remember last year?
That was an open field tackle.
Yeah.
Not only was it one-on-one, but he was on an island. And the South Carolina State receiver tried to do a bump route. Hodges avoided it and was able to keep up with the receiver making the tackle in the open field. I mean, based on the angle, he may have gotten the first down. He may not have, but I mean, it's only 3 yards out. And that could have been a big play if they.
Well, I think that's important to follow here about the tackling, how sound they are. Remember last year you were frustrated, you were disappointed with the tackling early in the season, and next week you got Malik Cunningham. I mean, you have to be ready to tackle. Oh, a fake here!
A fake. I was going to let you finish talking, but there was a fake.
Those special teams. Oh, those tricky South Carolina State folks.
Hey, this is their Super Bowl. They're going all out. But hey, UCF, little complacent there. They weren't ready. Do that. If I'm South Carolina State, make those fakes. Go for broke. This is your biggest game in your year as far as stature goes. You're in a talent hole. You've got to go for broke. And great call there. So,
well, that was one of my concerns, Drew. One of my concerns this year is the special teams for UCF. They cost them the Navy game. Here's a handoff, picks up a few yards. I mean, man, hopefully that's not an omen of things to come for the special teams this year.
Well, I think this is actually a
flag on the field, by the way. Flag on the
offensive holding call. They're going to take it back. The good thing is this happened early. Not in a game that's going to have a much smaller talent gap. Like a Louisville or Cincinnati. You have this happen against South Carolina State. Now you're going to always keep that in the back of your mind. Like, hey, remember the fake. Remember the fake. Remember the fake. I was a long snapper, and granted they didn't do this time. I practiced direct snaps to those up guys in the backfield. We practiced it every time, every day. So you're always keeping it a possibility, and it depends on what the defense gives you, how they're lining up. Are they lined up like a punt rush, a punt safe formation? There's different variables, and then of course you make those line calls, and being in the line, you make those calls. you granted you can actually have stuff sent to you in a much better way than I could in grade school, but it's the concepts don't change. UCF dodges a bullet right here. Bad pass to a wide open wide receiver. This against an FBS opponent is a first down and then some. This you cannot have.
Bad throw too. I mean,
if that was a good throw, that was a lot of yardage, and they would have made up basically everything that they lost from that holding calls. Now we're seeing a 3rd and 19, and that was a gift. That was a gift. I see State slowing it down a little bit, letting the play clock drop. And technically that's an incomplete pass, but man, that was about to be a sack. The pocket collapsed and running back was there, so he kind of just threw it over his head in a side fashion. Looks like Josh Selskar was there and made a nice hit, and they got rid of the ball. Incomplete pass, but that could have been a fumble if it wasn't done right. So again, South Carolina State. There's another bullet dodge, this time going the other way. And now we're seeing 4th and 19, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to fake this one just because of where you are in the field.
You wouldn't think so. But the pass rush will be interesting. Who becomes that main pass rusher for this defense? A lot of people think it's going to be Brash, but, some people think Selskar. So
Well, I mean, you both come from – they're actually faking it again.
What?
I'm eating the words. And then they kicked it about halfway down the field.
Oh, it's that rugby style. It's the rugby
style. Wow, God. that was interesting.
I've never seen that before. That's interesting. So he actually faked it, but he saw he wasn't going to be able to get the first down, so he kicked it. That's a pretty athletic play.
That's actually really. I'll be honest.
Is that legal?
I've seen rugby style punters, but I have never seen them do it like that. Where they not only are they past the line of scrimmage, they are way past the line. I mean, he kicked it a whopping 12 yards past the line of scrimmage. That's when he kicked it, and I don't think that's legal.
I was gonna say, I've never seen that. By the way, he had space. Now it did kind of cramp. I mean, it looked like he wasn't gonna, he panicked there and he kicked it. Yeah, it's a flag. Okay, so that's illegal. All right. There's a reason why we haven't seen that before.
Here's the thing. It's a rugby style punter. You're going to see more of this run. The first time, obviously, we just expect, okay, it's a run. This it's almost your own. It's like an RKO, a run kick option.
Randy Orton would be proud right now.
Oh, Randy Orton would love it because they're trying to be legend killers on this.
I'm really curious. What do you think happened there? Do you think that was a option to fake it and he got miscommunication? Do you think they intended to fake it and he panicked once he felt he wasn't going to make the first down? I'm kind of confused there.
I think he's given Rain to make the decision based on what he saw. He had a huge lane, a great running lane, and taking that actually was a smart play. UCF's just giving him gifts at this point, leaving, if you have two gunner blockers, you almost have to start playing punt safe because this guy has wheels. He can move. And UCF has not done that yet. So you know what? Keep poking the bear a little bit and see what happens. It worked the first time and you caught him again. The difference is punter got scared. He heard the footsteps coming, and then he kicked it away. And you can't do that. He was 12 yards past the line of scrimmage. I mean, that's why they were laughing about it, because it's like, you got scared, didn't you? Yeah, coach. I heard it coming.
First though, we've never seen that before.
Because I've seen rugby style punting. If I'm correct, I believe Matt Prater used to rugby style punt himself when he was a punter at UCF. But I've never seen it 12 yards downfield. So I wasn't sure what. It's like, I think that's illegal kicking, but I'm not 100% sure because I've never seen it that egregiously bad.
By the way, elsewhere, West Virginia, Pittsburgh are scoreless first quarter. They've got the Pitt head coach mic'd up during the game, Pat Narduzzi. Is that? And then And then your boy Lance Leipold, they just announced an extra year extension for him at Kansas. He's now through 2020.
I'm such a Leipold fan. At one point, I really wanted him to come to UCF. Obviously, UCF did fine, but this guy is a future Hall of Fame coach. He's coaching at Kansas. Blah blah blah. This is arguably one of the best D3 coaches of all time. The guy knows how to win, and that's why they brought him to Kansas. And you know what? He's starting to slowly turn that Kansas program into something. And they had some sparks, some flashes.
You're fired up. I mean, next year he could be here at the Bounce House, Drew. Are you going to interview him? Are you going to go to the visiting press conference?
Well, I mean, this year is the first year since 2019. The Banneret has 2 guys upstairs in the press box. I'm absolutely thrilled. Bryson Turner's taken my place for the day. I'll be back up there for next week's game.
How about this stat? This is the first UCF game where neither you, me, Brian Murphy have been in the press box for a game since like 2015 East Carolina.
Yeah, because I was in all of them for.
I'll throw in our friend Trace Trelko for that matter, who's not at this game either. He's in Baltimore on work, working on his regular job.
Yeah, and I'm going to be missing another game later this year, the Navy game, for the same reason. So I'm going to be in my hotel room doing my thing just like he.
Well, he's in Baltimore.
And we're seeing another touchdown. Did he hold on to it?
Oh.
Touchdown, UCF.
You are so ahead of me.
Oh man, what a play! Yeah, I'm ahead of even my wife. Who I'm now hearing.
You're ahead of your wife too. I mean, that's
delay.
I'm digging the delayed reaction.
You can hear in the background.
I do. Yes, that's great ambient noise. That was a beautiful pass.
It was.
Did he hold on to it though? We're gonna have. I want to see that. Did he hold on?
They're gonna have to read. Obviously, there's guys up top looking at it. They're gonna check out whether they got it or not because that was close, but he got it.
This is the throw he's going to have to hit all year, right? Like this.
The throw in the deep corner, and that was to Gamble, the tight end. And here's the thing: when you throw those kind of passes, always got to aim for the outside shoulder, which is what happened. You aim because you want either your guy or no one to have a shot at it. So we are quickly at a 14-0 game.
Yeah. 25-yard Plumlee to Gamble on that touchdown. Gamble, the Florida transfer, man, I think he's going to be a weapon. I don't think he came transferred to UCF just to be a blocker. I mean, he was their leading receiver for Florida last year. I think fine. Maybe since Jordan Akins here, Drew, we may have a weapon at tight end.
Well, don't take that away from Alec Holler. I mean, this guy was a third down conversion machine. Don't take away from the job that he did. He did an outstanding job keeping drives alive that could have easily died and gone into a punt. Tight end, if you look at the depth chart, it's Holler or Gamble as that top guy. So you expect to see a lot of rotation, and really it's going to be about matchups. Holler, 6'3", 230. Kamore Gamble, 6'4", 236. We're not talking about little guys. These are very stout tight ends. Now they have bigger guys. They're the other 2 tight ends on the 2 deep. Zach Marsh-Wojan and Jordan Davis are both bigger. Marsh-Wojan 6'5", 245, and then Davis 6'4", 250. I mean, we're talking some beef right there. Some big boys.
14-0 UCF here. You're watching the watch along. Me and Drew watching the game here with you a little bit. Drew, so you are Eric Lopez. You're doing play-by-play. I mean, you're doing fine. Like you maybe are Eric Lopez.
I did stuff on for the local high school team when there was still a sports station here. Unfortunately, it got sold right in the middle of season and kind of got the rug pulled out from underneath us. I enjoy this. I've told you, I'm jealous that you live close enough to school that you can do this stuff. I mean, it takes me over 2.5 hours to get to campus. So I can't just get up and
I trust me, I don't mind you doing play describing every play because I got 2 volleyball broadcasts tomorrow, then 2 more on Saturday, then women's soccer on Sunday. So
the roof claim sponsor. Don't like that. Boo.
And that's the beauty of this watch along, folks. We can just pretty much react to what we're seeing, just like you all, either if those of you watching on ESPN Plus, or we're going to try to, if you're not watching on ESPN Plus, the best to react to what they just showed the logos there. There you go. Drew's initial reactions right there.
They just showed John Rice Plumlee on the phone. He's already prepping his post-game wings. I mean, this one, he's already feeling pretty good. Now, the real question is, and I expect in the some point in the later third into the fourth quarter, you're going to start seeing the depth start showing up and getting some playing time, because I think this trajectory is going to continue. There's just a gap in talent, and that's not South Carolina.
That's obvious. That's pretty obvious. So kickoff underway here into the end zone.
Touchback for South Carolina State. They'll start at 25. But which quarterback do you see coming in later in the game? Do you see Keene? Do you see Thomas Castellanos come out? And I actually think Tommy would be the guy they would bring out.
Ooh, that would really stir things up, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would stir things up, but I think it's the best opportunity for him to get a little bit of playing time.
So you wouldn't play Keene at all?
Not if you don't need to. I mean, you know what he can do. He doesn't need. He's probably gonna get other opportunities down the road. I think against a softer team, this is a good opportunity for Castellanos to just get his feet wet as he's growing his college repertoire of football.
From the 25 here for South Carolina State, shotgun, down 2 touchdowns. Well, they're milking the clock. They're definitely not going fast.
Nope, and they're throwing it, and we're seeing some accuracy issues here. That ball.
That's an understatement.
That ball was not catchable.
This is the best that the FCS has to offer?
No, being the best HBCU.
Jeff made him sound like this huge threat, for crying out loud, on the podcast. Are you kidding me?
They did have 5 losses last year.
Oh, my God. What, they got hot in the playoff?
They didn't go to the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
You're mistaking being the FCS national champion, the Division I national champion, and the HBCU national champion. The top of the MAC, the MEAC, the top of the SWAC. They go play in the Celebration Bowl every year.
So Deion Sanders choked it away, is what you're telling me.
Choking away is an understatement. They got crushed. It was like 31-10.
A no-show for primetime.
They no-showed that game. Everyone thought. I even had Jackson State as one of my high confidence predictions. And on this play, we had a cornerback blitz that kind of got picked up and 9-yard gain.
How much do you think do you show if you're T-Will tonight? Like, I mean, let's be real. I mean, you have the better talent. Do you play vanilla here? You don't want to show too much tape here for Louisville? You
got to do at least a little bit, because especially with the linebackers, you've got some new blood. They need to be able to adapt to the different situations. Looks like South Carolina State gets the first down, short gain. Morris Brash with the tackle, but it was enough to fall forward, get that first down of the game for the Bulldogs. The first offensive first down of the game for the Bulldogs. You got that special teams one.
Shout out to UCF Jaguar, says go Knight. Appreciate those tuning in. I can tell people are tuning in and out because it is different, right? You're watching us, you're probably watching the game. You do a little for some, and for some they're just kind of moving around. So we always appreciate a reminder. Night Shift will follow for a post game show. We still will have Night Shift on a different feed on our YouTube channel.
Let's see. South Carolina State goes for broke. Receiver turns the wrong direction, and they're going to get a flag on UCF on that one.
Kind of tugged a little bit there.
Yeah, little pass interference. I don't agree with this call, aside from the fact that the receiver turned the wrong direction. He turned in. He should have turned out. That ball, as a result, ended up nowhere near them. They're going to use the little bit of arm pull, but he was so out of position.
Thornton is getting the flag. Thornton, let's see.
Yeah,
he is holding him on the hand.
That's hand check.
It's a little touchy. Yeah, it's a touchy.
That's a ticky-tack call. That's a little bit of a hand check. But the truth is that receiver was out of position to make that play.
That's a 15-yard penalty. First down. They're first for South. They're now at UCF territory. 5:53 to go in the first.
Down to the UCF 48. Going back on the ground, short gain. Once again, the defensive line plugged up those holes, and you only got a short gain. And you're going to see a lot of rotation on the defensive side. That was Matthew Alexander, who's the second string nose tackle, redshirt freshman. So you're going to see a lot of guys shifting in and out of this defensive lineup. But that's one of the things about the defense is you always want to have rotation, especially in the line, because that gets tiring. And the pass is intercepted on the tip for UCF. Devon Wilson catches the tip ball. It's thrown a little too far ahead.
No touch on that throw either.
That thing had a lot of mustard, and there goes that drive.
Well, first turnover of the year for the defense here.
Yep, that was first takeaway, and that ball had a lot of mustard on it. No touch. Very similar post route to what was run on the first Plumlee touchdown pass, but this one was thrown about 3 times as hard. And as a result, Wilson makes a diving catch and gives the ball back to the black and gold.
So if you include the whatever you want to call it, fake punt, whatever, I mean, UCF again, making another big stop. So this is big.
All right. Plumlee going for the home run ball, and I don't believe it. It was caught. Holy moly! Words cannot do justice.
Mr. Baker in the who is that? That's Key. Is that Ryan O'Keefe?
Yeah. I don't believe how he made this catch.
We gotta hire your wife as the like the sound effect or something. Like her delay.
I'll tell you a story about Terry and watching a football game in just a bit. They tried a wide receiver screen to O'Keefe. It went nowhere. But
I'm not causing any trouble having you on here while she's watching the game on her own. She's more than welcome to join us.
Thrown into. I'll be honest. This was not a wise throw. You threw into double coverage. How it somehow slipped in the middle, I don't know. But that was not a wise decision. And against a better defense, that's an incomplete or an interception. And he's going again for the deep ball. But badly overthrows O'Keefe. I think he expected O'Keefe to turn upfield. O'Keefe did not.
Yeah.
So the ball is over 10 yards downfield, but O'Keefe was running towards the sideline. He never turned upfield. I just think it was a disconnect on the communication there. Plumlee patted himself on the chest as in, that's my bad. So we got a third down. So we see that he can throw the ball so far early today. I was not happy with that O'Keefe pass. I was happy with the results. Not okay with why he chose that target. But we saw a little miscommunication there. Let's see what he does again. And a drop would be deep pass over the middle. That would have brought the ball inside the 5-yard line.
That's got to be caught, right? That's got to be caught.
Yeah, Gamble flat out dropped it. That was a first down and maybe even a touchdown. That's completely on the receiver. No excuse for that. That was in his hands. He was bringing it in, and they're going for it.
Yeah, Gus is going. Why not? 4th and 10. Yeah, that should have been caught. That was a good throw. The ball's in the hands, so they're going for it here. 4th down.
I mean, you could say maybe it was a step ahead, but the rule is if you get a hand on it, you should be able to catch it. Is the general rule.
What do you think here? Going for it here?
Nope. Well, they did the old fake.
Oh.
And did he bring it in? No, he did not. So, as you know, on offsides, if the defensive line jumps, you do have the free play. It's what they did. And he heaved it downfield, and it was just a sliver too long because O'Keefe caught it but couldn't quite bring his legs in when he was diving out of the back of the end zone. So, I mean, really cool. Nope, not take that back. That was Javon Baker. And he just could not bring the legs down in bounds. But, I mean, it looked really good.
It's not a bad throw.
Well, it's bad in the fact that it was an incomplete. It was too far.
But, I mean, he still hit him. I mean, you're right. An inch or two. But he's got an arm. He's got an arm.
He's got an arm. He just, and that one was a tough one. He was actually well covered. So 4th and 5, they're actually going for it. They make the first down conversion. Let's see. They brought all the stops on that one. Jalen Griffin catching the ball. So we were seeing some of the other receivers. Griffin, who's technically lined up in the depth chart behind Javon Baker. And we got a first down at the 25. And Plumlee's going to keep it, run for about 7-8 yards outside and go out of bounds. So UCF has entered the red zone once again. You're looking at a second down and short, and they're looking good. I mean, they're looking good. They're not really getting too advanced, and I'm liking that. They haven't shown really any trickeration, but you've seen different lineups. Right now, we have a 4 wide receiver set, 2 to each side. You have one running back lined up, and you actually have Plumlee in almost like a short shotgun, and he used that as an opportunity as a fake, and he holds on to the ball, busts out of 2 tackles, and will get in for the touchdown up the middle. That's another touchdown. He was wrapped. He was tackled, and they couldn't pull him down. That's that 6 foot, 200-pound frame. He's not a little guy, but he breaks 1 tackle. He actually gets hit by 3 guys at the same time, and he manages to keep his balance, hopping into the end zone for the score. So Plumlee is just racking up the stats right now.
He's a gifted runner here, Drew. I mean, this is what he brings to the offense, and
this is why he's starting. There's a dynamic to it, and we also knew that the line was going to be tested. You expected.
My only concern, my only nitpick here, Drew, is this. I mean, he runs there, he gets hit there. If they're playing a legitimate team that's stronger, more physical, I mean, can this work all season? Can he last the season? That's the question I would have. He's a great runner, but that's my only question.
Yeah, I would expect them to utilize the running game more from the running back standpoint. They haven't had to, and I think part of that is just conservation. You've already got Bowser with 4 carries already. At that point, you don't want to overwork him. I don't want to see him more than 15, and I don't even think he's going to get that high at this rate because you've got plenty of other guys who could use some work. You establish the big lead. Obviously, your starters will play the whole half. They'll maybe play a little bit in the third quarter, if that. Then you start getting the depth in there. The game's a big enough blowout. You take them out at halftime. You let the next unit play in the third quarter, and potentially the third unit in the fourth quarter. This is one of the things. And you kind of poo-poo it's just a giant scrimmage. When you start getting into these blowouts, that part kind of starts being true. But it's also it's a scrimmage that counts. So it's not a scrimmage. It's a game. It counts. You get 1 FCS.
It's live action. No, I mean, I don't know what you thought. I feel like, to me, if you're going to play I'm talking about everybody in college football. If you're going to play an FCS opponent, why not everybody just do it in week 1 and kind of like a preseason game that counts? Like you know what I mean? Like, I would do that instead of.
And who's going to play in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game? I mean, you need some of those big games early on.
Week 2. You could do that week 2.
No, you got to have it week 1 because that's kick off.
No, what I'm saying is you can use everybody. What I would do is have everybody play week 0 against an FCS team. That way, everybody gets 2 byes, and then week 1 is when you play your Chick-fil-A's and all that, or have bye weeks, whatever.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah. I'm saying everybody should do that. Yeah.
You have a few week zeros, but it's all about what works best for your schedule. I mean, like UCF has to I think next year they've got a game scheduled in the middle of the year for an FCS game. It's just sometimes how the way the schedule shakes out. I had no issue with that. The only ones that people had issues with was the SEC always having the cupcake right before that final regular season game of the year. Frankly, I don't care. You just play the game.
No, you're right.
It does that really benefit them? No, it's for them. They look at it as a way to rest up, but you know what? That takes them out of the spotlight, and it actually gives every other conference a chance to get some games in marquee times because you're playing a bunch of scrubs.
By the way, a lot on social media comments. Really, people starting to like JRP, and I'm going to tell you this, Drew. Plumlee's a likable guy. Mark Daniels on the local radio talked about how on their coaches show, John Rice Plumlee was a guest at the establishment. He showed up early, and Mark said, "Hey, you're here early." He's like, "Yeah, I want to greet everybody and thank everybody that came." He shook everybody's hand, took photos. I mean, this guy gets it, man. He gets it. He stayed afterwards. He did his radio segment. I mean, this guy, high character guy is what I'm saying.
I've been impressed with him so far. It's
very likable guy.
He's likable. He's mature. He has this air of kind of been there, done that.
Yeah.
And
he's the type I think could have an aura. Like if he turns out to be exciting and good, I think he could be hugely popular.
Oh yeah. So if we look at the defense right now, we're seeing more like a nickel where they're able to shift their night flex guy back and over to play as an extra defensive back on the slot. So that's where that advantage comes in, where you're able to have a guy like a Hodges be able to shift over and play that role. And they've got they also got Nikai Martinez, true freshman, who actually I think was on the field for that play. Be able to he's also the backup for that night position. That's actually a harder position than a traditional linebacker would be, because you got to have smarts to know when to get involved with that. That's Willie Yates the third. He's one of the transfers at linebacker that came in. They're going to relay on him and Jason Johnson quite a bit as far as linebacking goes. You got Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste, who is a machine. He's really grown to his own over this past year. But Johnson and Yates both came in as part of those transfers. You also had the younger ones in Brandon Jennings and Terrence Lewis from Maryland. But the older guys, Johnson and Yates, going to get a lot of playing time. And now we got a 3rd and long situation for the Bulldogs. And once again, too hard of a pass. That thing gets, it looks like it bounced off his chest.
All right, so let's make this declaration, Drew, as your witness. From now on the podcast, when we say somebody can't throw, this is the definition of a quarterback that cannot throw.
Well, there's a whole slew of reasons why a quarterback cannot throw. That one actually hit him just under the face mask in the upper chest area, but he threw it so hard.
Right.
That thing went flying afterwards. Touch is one of the most critical things a quarterback needs. We've seen guys who have good arms, no touch, and finally a normal punt, a very low
punt.
Oof, this thing shanked badly.
Maybe that's why they haven't punted to this normally.
Yeah, that was rough.
A minute 42 to go, still first quarter, 21-0. Fiesta di Chipola on Twitter. John Reisman Plumlee. Get it? True? John Reisman
some people did say that he could be a dark horse.
Dan Mullen has a
team
sleeper
name. That's their team nickname. I've noticed, and I'm going to throw the UCF stat people under the bus a little bit. If you look at their stats, they're having some issues. Obviously, first game of the year.
I've been there, done that with that, brother. First game's the worst. It's the worst. As somebody who's done stats, the first game is always a nightmare.
Oh yeah, I remember sitting by and watching them, and I felt
trickeration here, a little trickery.
Yes,
O'Keefe.
It doesn't really yield anything, but you see a little trickeration there. O'Keefe runs 100 yards to gain nothing, but he's in great shape and has a lot of speed, so he'll be just fine. But they're like John Rice Plumlee on the stats right now. His name is Team.
Team. Well, he's a team. Well, that's a heck of a new name.
And apparently Gamble has a pass and Griffin has a pass. They're going to work it out. They'll work it out. This is first game.
I'm just glad I'm not there. That's a stressful situation. I've been there. I've sat next to those guys because I've done TV stats in the past, and I'm dependent on them. They usually sit me next to them, so I'm always dependent on them being pretty accurate. 3rd and long coming up after a short.
Yeah.
Well,
no run. I remember one time. I think it was early last year. I'm sitting behind them, and they're having some issues, and I actually told them what they were missing because I was actually writing up stuff. I'm not doing it now, so I actually kind of feel weird. Normally when I'm sitting at a game, I'm writing up notes from my article, and it looks like a stream of consciousness. But I'm not doing it right now because I'm here with you guys talking football.
3rd and 10 at the 50.
And Plumlee airs it. It's too high. Incomplete.
That's just,
That was just a bad pass.
Yep, and he knows it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, who else are you going to blame? That was
but you say that, but I think receivers will respect that a quarterback's going to say, "Hey, my bad, it's on me," right? I mean, I feel like the receivers will respect that because sometimes quarterbacks tend to show up the receiver and point and all of this. I think you respect the fact that the quarterback say, "No, that's on me."
Well, the key is don't throw your teammates under the bus. If it ain't them, it's not. It's not them.
All right, first punt of the year here for
and it goes into the end zone for a touchback, but there is a flag on the play. We're still waiting here with that flag.
Now you got a fantasy football draft at the top of the hour, do you not?
I do.
Wow, so that now you're going to get challenged here. You're going to be following this game, and do it. What pick do you have?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet.
Well, they randomize the order. They don't leave the order necessarily the same. But I am the reigning champion of this particular league.
Illegal formation against UCF, by the way, on the flag.
Right.
7 seconds left in the first quarter. UCF up 21-0. Can't ask for a better start here, Drew. Overall,
you really can't. Well, I mean, you can, but you're not going to get it. South Carolina State just flat out outman. They're going to start at the 25. This could easily be the last play of the quarter. But there's things that UCF didn't do well to get started. But you know what? That's why you have these games early on. You want to get these.
But what we like is they didn't kind of let them hang around early. They jumped on them. You know what I mean? They right from the get-go, there's another flag. So you jinxed it, Drew. Drew, that's why I don't like, as a broadcaster, I don't say, hey, this could be the last play.
I said it could be. I didn't say it was. I said it could be.
It's a holding against South Carolina State.
I just want to point that out. It was a holding call. Actually, that was an understandable holding because I was either that or a big loss. So I kind of see why the left tackle there held Morris Brash. But ref called it. And look, that was the last play of the quarter. Holy moly, what do you know? They turned the
That's
clock.
one rule I do like college football is after they wind the clock up after the flag. They don't make you run another play. I do like that. So we're at the end of the first quarter of the season. UCF up 21-0. Drew, Plumlee throwing a lot early. I believe I said this on the podcast. You can check out by the way, Black and Go Banneret podcast every week on your favorite podcast devices. Make sure you give us a 5-star review and thumbs up here on the YouTube channel. By the way, subscribe here. You're going to have a lot of UCF content, football and other sports throughout the season here. You have post games, press conferences, etc. will be on this YouTube channel here, Drew. But Plumlee aggressive, throwing the football early. UCF, I think Gus sending a message there.
Oh, well, I mean, he's not going to pull punches. And looks like Plumlee 7 of 10 for 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. UCF stats may be broken, but Yahoo Sports stats are not. So that's where I'm at.
Very good. You got your backup plan ready to go.
I am a man of contingencies.
All right, Plumlee. Everybody's going to ask about Plumlee. Your thoughts 1 quarter in.
I think there's potential there. Do I think this was a flawless quarter? No. Some of the throws were a little off. Little bit of miscommunication on one play that should have been a good gain. There weren't any. There was the one drop I don't blame him for. The long pass to O'Keefe was not a smart throw. You don't try to throw in a double coverage like that and expect nothing to go wrong. That's the one that sticks out to me. You want the guys behind center to make sound decisions, and that one was questionable. The results were good, but it's like the line from Major League when Willie Mays Hayes does the basket catch, and of course I'll PG it, but he comes back and Lou Brown's like, "Nice catch, don't ever bleep and do it again." So yeah, nice throw, don't ever do it again.
So you're saying the Reisman Plumlee Twitter chat, the social media chat, are a little premature, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's a little premature.
Okay, but hey, it's good though. I think there was a lot of people kind of concerned going in. I mean, how this would look, and I think you could see the potential there, like you said. I think it's a good.
It's a work in progress. He has 2 years of eligibility of this year and next year. There's a work in progress. You're playing against a team that's really not very good. Take advantage of that. That's one reason why they're throwing the ball out. They actually are passing plays. They've actually run more passing plays, but they've turned into runs. So you've got Plumlee with 10 throws. You've got a team total of 10 runs. And the other thing that I think is really good is the ball is moved to different guys. O'Keefe with 2 catches, Baker with 2 catches, and then Gamble, Bowser, and Griffin each with 1 catch. So you're moving the ball around. You're not fixated on one guy. You're going through your progressions. That's something that I like.
Some people on social media are saying he seems to be reading his first option, and if it's not there, he runs. Are you seeing that? Are we overanalyzing here?
His first pass says otherwise, where he made the outlet pass to Isaiah Bowser. He followed him. He could have easily tucked it and ran. Practically probably would have made more yardage if he did. But you want to teach your guys to utilize the check down receiver. In this case, it was Bowser, and it worked. You got a first down out of it. So I don't know so much if it's one read and go, but that's what a running quarterback has a tendency to do. So I think it's in his mind. Hey, I want to run, and we're starting to see a little bit of sloppy tackles, but I can't subscribe to that. Not yet.
You mentioned there, a pass there that could have been a 5-yard loss instead goes for basically maybe a 1-yard loss because of a missed tackle there in the back.
Well, that's one of those shoulder. I want the hit stick tackle, and I hate those. If you got a chance to square up on a receiver or a running back like that, even if you're a defensive back, if you could square up, wrap, use those arms. I mean, even if you don't take him down, you slow him down. You have guys coming to swarm the ball. But just trying that hit stick arm thing, no. I mean, that's no. Let's see, second down, another nothing burger of a throw. I'm not sure which receiver that was actually to. It was kind of in between 2 receivers.
Well, this is
Devontae Brown with some good coverage. I mean, neither was really open, but
yeah. I mean, Drew, I'm going to tell you this right now. You talk about a complete opposite in 1 week. You're going to go from this quarterback, with all due respect to this young man, he's trying hard, but you're going from him to Malik Cunningham. I don't think we're going to learn much about the secondary tonight. I mean, this is
Malik Cunningham is going to make UCF work, and another ball a little too high. Receiver hit, trying to pull it in, and we're going to see another punt, 4th and 21, deep in their own territory. And here's the thing. UCF struggles against dual threat quarterbacks that can tuck the ball and run, and that's what Malik Cunningham is. So as we shift away from the days of old, of the Frosts and the hypo players, and now we're getting just Malzahn's players in place, will we see a change in how UCF plays against these dual threat quarterbacks? They have a bad history against them, and they're going to need to be on point against Louisville. So here comes another punt from just ahead of the goal line. This is actually a nice punt. Let's see, it's going to be caught at about the 36 of UCF, and there is room to run, and looks like I think that's O'Keefe. Almost got his head taken off, but it goes into South Carolina State territory. No, that's Devon Wilson. I take that back. The 4s and the 9s look a little bit alike. Still learning these new numbers.
Welcome to broadcast where it's not so easy, is it, Drew?
I remember I used to do it in high school level. I didn't have a TV.
So UCF possession, 13:51 to go, second quarter. So I mean, to me, I don't think we're going to see much from the UCF defense tonight, right? Like if you're 2-0, there's no reason to show a lot. I mean, you should be able to handle this offense of South Carolina State with your base defense, don't you?
For the most part, you should be able to work with the base. Obviously, you adjust based on what the offense gives you. But we did see a corner blitz. It didn't work. They were able to pick it right out and adjust to it and get a 9-yard gain out of it. But you've got to do little things there, here and there. If you do a little bit, because, I mean, defense, there's always so many tricks that defense can use to say, oh, I haven't seen that before. It's different than offenses. You can have a lot more innovation on the offense than you really can on the defense. If you're running a 4-man line, you've got 2 linebackers and a flex, and then 4 defensive backs. There's only so much you can do with them. You can shift them. You can do a stunt where guys on the line cover different gaps, and you can do different blitzes. So you got to do a little bit here and there, just enough to give some real world data. Because practices and scrimmages, that's all beta testing. And anyone who's worked in systems, if you beta test, it never picks up all the bugs. It's not until you actually get to the finished product out to market that you find, the good stuff. And you see that all the time. You see it in operating systems and internet browsers and all sorts of other stuff. There's bugs that pop in games. There's bugs that pop up after the fact, and it's because you can't envision everything that goes wrong until they go wrong.
We're about top of the hour in 2 minutes here. Is your your draft pick yet?
I've got it loaded up. I'm ready for it.
What do you have?
Let me pull that back up. There it is. I have the number 10 pick out of 12.
Wow.
And it's a snake draft, so it's going to come back around. And let's see.
Feel free to throw in your comments. Who should Drew take? You may or may not take your advice, but
I may or may not take your advice. But let's see. How many rounds is this particular draft? I think it's because every draft's a little bit different. This one is 15 rounds. So I am going to be keeping an eye on that.
I can't believe you scheduled a. I can't believe you. Wait, I can't believe you scheduled a draft on the night of UCF football.
I tried to change the name. It wasn't me. It was the commission.
What would have happened if you had to go to cover the game?
I would have multitasked.
Fair enough. All right. They're coming back from break. UCF ball here at South Carolina State possession. And flag on the field. Oh, illegal motion.
There's the laundry.
Illegal formation on UCF. Oh, first time Gus is not happy. Gus not happy. False start. Actually, it's the official call, apparently. This is where you sometimes might see the sloppiness is not necessarily in the first quarter, but in the second quarter in a lot of these first games.
Well, you've kind of the adrenaline's worn off, and now you're more in the cerebral game of football. So it's
Plumlee here at the 47 of South Carolina State, changing the play.
Plumlee holds on to it, uses his ability to avoid tackles, gets down to about the 38.
How much do you think stays in the game? A half?
At this rate, I think he'll be gone by mid third quarter at the latest.
I just worry about him running as much as he is in a game like this.
You mean like he's doing right now?
Yeah.
Well, he just ran it again, going up the right side for a first down. So,
how much of this is design? How much is this his
Okay. This was definitely a design run. You can tell because he did the play action and he was already running forward right at that point and never really stopped. So you knew that it was going to be.
You surprised we haven't seen more of the running backs getting carries here? I mean, he's the leading rusher right now.
I mean,
that's a heck of a prop bet. Could Plumlee be the leading rusher by the end of the year if he stays healthy?
Well,
is that possible?
It really does. Let's see. Was that Jalen Griffin with a good catch, avoids a couple tackles, getting a first down into the red zone. But to answer your question, UCF's trying to avoid, obviously injuries, especially with Isaiah Bowser, who has had durability issues all through his collegiate career. What happened with him last year is not much different than what he's dealt with all his career. So you don't want him to get hurt because that changes the dynamics of the defense. They don't respect the run the same way. But you've got to see what the other players can do. Like they just had, let's say, Johnny Richardson up the middle for not a huge game. But one of the things about Richardson that makes him dangerous is because he's so small, he shrinks down and just kind of disappears in the line. And that can be very dangerous for defense.
Trace is thinking like I am. Enough with the Plumlee. He's concerned. Trace is concerned about the running of Plumlee this much.
You got a little wildcat going on right now.
Who we got there behind? Is it Bowser?
Bowser at the Wildcat. He stays on his feet and falls over just shy of the end zone. Looks like he's going to be down at the 1 yard line. He stumbled. But first and goal, that one was Bowser out of the Wildcat. You had Plumlee in motion coming, what could have been for an end around. Didn't give it and nearly made it.
Feels like this is a lot of window dressing to kind of make Louisville look at a lot of different stuff here, don't you? I mean,
okay, it is officially my pick. Do I take Cooper Kupp, Dalvin Cook, or Jamar Chase?
I couldn't hear you. Your wife was yelling there. I think she was trying to yell for Bowser to get in.
Yeah, she wanted Bowser in, but it's my pick. I got Kupp, Cook, and Chase as the 3 guys available.
Well, I mean, Dalvin Cook's pretty good. I would say Cook. Do you think Cooper Kupp can duplicate what he did last year?
I don't think so, personally. And
I would go Cook.
Touchdown, Isaiah Bowser from 1 yard out, and Dalvin Cook is going to be the man.
I have him in my keeper league, and score league. It's a touchdown by Bowser from the quarterback position. So the Knights
and Terry approves.
Seriously, this is great. Can she come with you? Is on the road show or something? I mean, this is great.
Let me tell you a story. We're at the 2010 conference championship game. I had my season tickets. They were around the 42-yard line on the visiting side, on the south side of midfield, about 9 rows back. Oh, here's my pick again. And let's see who I have at my disposal this time.
Extra point forthcoming with 11:02 to go in the second, and it is good. Barely, but good. 28-0 UCF, 11:02 to go.
All right, let's see. I'm probably going to go running back again because
there's so much depth at the receiving core. Yeah,
the next highest running back available is
Lonely Mixon. Bumblebee liked your Dalvin pick, by the way.
Yeah, next one's going to be Joe Mixon, who I don't particularly like. I've never been a Mixon fan.
Are you going with a Bengal?
I go with who wins. I don't care what team they play for. I go for who wins. I'm actually not a Mixon fan, but he's really turned it on the last couple of years. So,
all right, I think Trace is yelling at us to take Bowser out now. Are you yelling at us, Trace? I mean, is that what you're doing?
I would take Bowser out now. There's no reason to keep playing him. He got some reps and he played a couple drives. You know what? Bring in Mark Anthony Richards or RJ Harvey and let them.
We keep talking about all this depth at the running back position. Might as well use it, right?
Exactly.
All right. What'd you end up doing? Did you take Mixon?
I took Mixon. So the way this league is, it's 1 quarterback, 2 receivers, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and then a running back receiver flex, and then a running back receiver tight end flex.
Ooh, so Bumblebee. No, we can't. Drew ain't going to take Gabe Davis that early.
No. Go? Oh, God, no.
Where are you targeting Gabe Davis? Where are you guarding? Where are you shooting for?
That's a ways down.
Don't be starting some trash talk, Bumblebee. Don't be starting that.
It's the way. I mean, there's so many receivers: Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans.
Oh no, he's talking about how the Bengals are the only real football team in Ohio.
Oh well, I mean, when Cincinnati. I mean, what was it? 30 years since they won a playoff game until this past season.
Man. Joe Burrow, man.
I think the line is Joe effing Burrow.
Keep him up. Got to keep him up. Got to keep him upright.
Now, so here's the question, because I'm probably going to take quarterback in the next spot just based on fantasy points.
Wow.
Top 1 is Justin Herbert. Second one is Tom Brady, which I think may be a little bit overrated.
I wouldn't touch Brady right now.
I actually have in my other league, but I have 3 quarterbacks on that team based on the way the league's set up. And then Joe Burrow is number 3.
You wouldn't go receiver there, huh?
It really depends on how it shakes out.
Oh, there's a FBC mortgage there as they come back from commercial. 11:02 to go, 28-0. UCF with the lead, Bowser with the touchdown. Many calling for him to be his last carry of the night. We'll see if that is the case.
Yeah, and I'm gonna solidify my opinion on these new uniforms of they missed on the shoulder the TV numbers. That shoulder is very bland. It needs something, just needs something there to take up space. And I think they missed the boat on that, especially, and that's going to be another touchback. It actually bounced just shy of the goal line and then went in. If they made the Pegasus maybe like the color of the number, so it popped. They wouldn't need the TV numbers, but as a result, especially when you're looking from a distance, the Pegasus just blends in, and when they're moving, it blends in. You don't see it. I know it was always designed to be kind of sublimated, but with no TV numbers, it makes that whole from the neck all the way down the shoulder just everything blends together. And I think they missed the ball on that one.
Interesting.
I mean, take a look. Once you start zooming out, it all starts bleeding together into a singular color. So you got 1st and 10 at the 25, and you have a
handoff here,
a near break, but Martinez looked like it held on. Was that Martinez?
3-yard pickup or so there, so it'll be 2nd and 7.
Yep. Walter Yates. It's 27, not 21. Walter Yates holds on for dear life and prevents a big gain. I mean, it only ended up being 3 yards.
2nd and 7 here, 10:35 and running here in the second quarter.
They're going to run the ball again, and not much. UCF does a good job, and he runs into a horde of guys. Yates looks like Montalvo. Doesn't get a whole lot there. I'm glad Montalvo's been able to move back to defensive tackle where he belongs at his natural position. Due to depth issues, he had to play end and was routinely burned because he's just not a defensive end. But it's good that UCF now has the depth that they can put it back in his natural position.
3rd and 5, 10 minutes to go.
We're seeing a shift. Seeing a shift on the defensive front. Now you have a linebacker lining up at the end side, and you have everyone shifted over. And you have an underthrown ball that was nearly picked off. My
goodness.
Ooh.
Well, that gives us a good time to you could address Lonely Bumblebee's question to you right here. Thoughts on the Donovan Mitchell trade? Big trade today in the NBA.
Well, as you know, I'm from Cleveland, so I am a Cavaliers fan, and this Utah wanted to go into full rebuild mode. Cavaliers wanted to go into win now mode, and this was an outstanding trade for both teams for various reasons. Utah gets a guy that they can sign to a contract in Colin Sexton, who can score, but he kind of fell out of favor in Cleveland. He missed this past year for the most part with an injury, and he just didn't really fit anywhere. Punt with a really good bounce for the Bulldogs. That's going to end up at the 9-yard line. That's going
to look good on the box score. I'll tell you that. That's going to look good on these
All right, now it's my turn. Wow, apparently Mark Andrews is like the next guy in this list, but I'm not picking him.
Okay, so who's out there? 9:30 to go, first half here.
Oh, let's see. Let's go.
28-0 UCF. They go to commercial.
Top guys: Mark Andrews, Michael Pittman, James Conner, Keenan Allen, and then A.J. Brown and Kyle Pitts.
What about the quarterback?
Quarterback, you got Brady, Wilson, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray. Let's see. I'm probably going to draft quarterback in the next.
Right.
Round.
So you're going to go. What are you going to go here? Receiver?
Let's see. I'm leaning towards Keenan Allen on this one because Herbert.
Reliable.
He's reliable. He's going to be. He's not. Unlike Mike Williams, who was very feast or famine. He'll consistently give you one. Unfortunately, Mike Williams went the pick before, but I'm actually a Williams fan. I've had him on. This will officially be the first time in 2 years I haven't had him on both of my teams. I have him as a keeper on the other one. So I had Mike Williams a lot. So I think this time I'm going to go quarterback. As the question is, which quarterback do I end up drafting? I've got 3 more picks till mine. So if you go by estimated fantasy points, it's Brady, Wilson, Prescott, Murray, and then Stafford. And I'm kind of looking at that Kyler Murray spot. I think he's going to be the guy.
Wow, bold. Second quarter here.
I always take 2 quarterbacks. I always have 2 quarterbacks on the team. I always have 2 defenses on the team. So there's that. But I think he has the most upside. I think Dallas is just overrated. I have reservations about Tampa. And you don't know what you're getting in Denver with Russell Wilson. Was it him? Was it the other players? I think
that's a big one. We're going to find out. We're going to get some answers opening night, Monday night, Denver and Seattle. Russell Wilson there. By the way, Sons of UCF chiming in. Jazz have like 18 first rounders. OKC strategy. Yeah, that's what Danny Ainge is
they've
doing
done
over
a
there.
full rebuild. I mean, they got rid of Mitchell. They got rid of what's his face, the center whose name is escaping me the moment I need it.
We'll have Adam Eaton on in the start of the fourth quarter, end of the third quarter, by the way. Trey Neal hopefully will join us at halftime. So stay tuned on the watch line. Then we'll have Night Shift here on the YouTube channel as well as on our Twitter handle and our Facebook after the game. We're thinking 10:45 Eastern. So just to make notes of that, folks.
I wish they had running clocks.
Amen to that. I've been screaming for that for a while. I still don't understand why college football insist on stopping the clock after first downs. The NFL's gone just fine without it. You know,
it's more when it's a blowout in the second half,
right?
Just it's 35-point game at that point. Whoever, and you just
Plumlee back out. By the way, Plumlee back out here for this drive.
He'll play the rest of the half. I don't expect him to leave this half.
This is the worst field position for UCF tonight here at their own 9.
And finally, the first play that he kind of did that went nowhere. That was a design run, play action, went up the middle, and there was nothing there.
Are you surprised by as many design runs they've called here for Plumlee, considering the opponent?
No,
okay.
I can't say I'm really surprised. This is what he's built for.
Yeah, but in this game,
what a block! Oh man, what a block! And this is going for a very long gain, not quite all the way, but Javon Baker got a huge block on the outside on this wide receiver screen and just blew it open. I watched this. Holy moly, who was that? Who did that?
By the way, Javon Baker seems to be continues as advertised, like he was in the fall camps there.
Now, I wanted to point out that he was one of the guys I highlighted for breakout player of the year.
Yeah, I think you and I were both on that one. Yeah, I agree with you on that. They're cut. Wait, what are we going here?
It's a timeout. They're coming from Alabama. Not much. Didn't get much time. Let's see. Holler with a good block. Oh man, what? That's why you have those lines.
Paloi there. There you go.
That was Paloi.
Yeah, good catch there. Good catch there, Adam. Good catch on that one.
Yeah, what a great block that opened it up. Yeah, Rudy Gobert. Thank you for. I just had you had that brain fart right when you need that.
I'm learning. Adam's a diehard NBA guy here. I'm loving this.
I like the NBA. I mean, the product been as fun to watch as it's been in years? No, but you know what? I follow the off the court stuff.
You're of course you're everybody.
Well, I like watching. I like seeing how free agency and the trades and all that stuff works out. I mean, the Cavs are a very young team. They're growing. Obviously, the Magic have been tragic, but there's hope for them too. Let's see. That was a little bit of a draw up the middle for Johnny Richardson and a good hole, and a good sizable gain on that one. I like that. Let the play develop a little bit.
That's got to be close to a first down there. We'll see where they.
Yeah, it's pretty close. They 2nd and 1. It's pretty close, but that was a good draw, and he waited. That's what you're supposed to do.
They're showing Swoboda on the telecast.
Yeah, let the play develop, and then
they called it a 9-yard game, so it's 2nd and 1.
All right, so that was a bad drop by O'Keefe, but for all those guys who say he's one read and run, I can guarantee there was at least 3 reads on that. You can watch his head move. At least 3 reads on that.
That's right. That's the social media world where we're going to nitpick every throw, every possession, every dribble. It just is what it is. Ryan Swoboda, they're showing up right now. You excited about Swoboda?
Another keeper for Plumlee, but he slid this time. Smart move because
that's what we want to see there. Yeah, that's.
Well, he had nowhere to go. He
still got hit a little bit. They could have called the flag there if they wanted. He got hit even when he slid.
They could have, but I think because he bounced up so quick is why they didn't.
I agree.
If he got knocked over, they would have flagged it.
So you're saying he's got to sell that.
You got a first down out of that. So 1st and 10 at the 25. You still got 7.5 minutes to go. I'm expecting some points on the board in some fashion. They're slowing it down. They're changing the play up based on what they've seen. Another draw. This one was really well caught by South Carolina State. It went nowhere. Got back to the line of scrimmage. It wasn't a bad read as far as a changing of the play, but I mean, they just sniffed it out. Grable's having a bit of a rough day on that left tackle. I mean, he's just having a rough time there.
So 2nd and long here, under 7 to go, first half.
Let's see, a well-defended pass into the right corner. Was that Richardson over on the right? Yeah, he kind of flared out of the backfield, but I mean that's good defense. That's just flat out good defense. If the throw was a little bit more accurate, he would have actually led Richardson a little bit more. That was a touchdown, but he underthrew it a little bit towards the sideline instead of towards the
It's a nice design play call, though. I like that design.
Free play here. You're going to throw it in the end zone and just hope for the best. You're going to get 5 yards out of that.
Well, and that's smart. A lot of players would just throw it away, but you've got a free play. You might as well try to see what happens. You got nothing to lose.
Well, exactly. I remember BYU 2014, UCF scored a touchdown on an offsides play.
That's true. Offsides there. There's a good call.
Yeah. You get in that neutral zone. Center knows to snap it. Quarterback knows that he needs to just air it, and those receivers are move on ball, not on call. You're at home. You don't have to use the silent count, but you're still keeping an eye on what's going on.
Is this 4-down territory here if you don't convert?
I think you want to at least give your kicker a chance to try. They're in the red zone now. That was actually a really good read by Plumlee. That was definitely a run option, and saw where the defenders were coming in and decided not to hand off the ball and go up the middle. Smart read, because that would have probably been a loss. But now you've got a first down inside the red zone.
Could Plumlee end up being the best running quarterback UCF's had? I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean,
you don't really have who are you going to compare to here?
I mean, Culpepper was an underrated runner. Look at this. What was that? What happened there, Drew?
How
do you describe what did I just see there?
Direct snap. I haven't seen something like that.
This was like it was like a trickery play that Gus is just must be bored.
No, it's not so much bored. You got to try new stuff.
That didn't work. That was weird. But it was like a direct there. Here's a screen. No blocking there, Drew.
None. And my wife, come on.
She's not happy. You two should for that Navy game. Maybe you two should host it. You two should consider hosting the watch.
That was a weird play, because the way they let the running in the rush in, it was like a screen, but they ran the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And we got a fumble, a scoop, and let's see if I don't think anyone's gonna catch him because Plumlee's gonna get pushed out of the way. He almost Leon Ledded it. Almost Leon Ledded it. Thanks, Terry.
That was great. I love her. I mean, I tell you, that's a miscue.
Oh, man.
Listen, that's a big play for some of us, that have interest in what the final score is, if you know what I mean. I'm just saying that could be a big play.
Oh, absolutely.
That is a fumble, right? I don't think was his arm. I don't think his arm was going. I don't think that's going to be.
Actually, I don't think it bounced off the lineman. So I don't know.
Good job by O'Keefe there to make the tackle, short yardage there,
but he almost Leon Ledded that because he put the ball in the wrong hand,
right?
And he almost paid the price for that. They may have to review that, because watch this. Watch it. So his arm is starting to come forward. He lets go of the ball. It bounces off the lineman's head. They may reverse this back as an incomplete pass.
The problem is, though, it looks like he's going backwards, though, when the hand's going forward, but he's going backwards.
You have to wonder was it going backwards? And, let's see the play one more time. And, yes, that went backwards. They're going to call that a fumble. because they're going to view that as a lateral. It's not going to be illegal touching or anything. It went backwards into the lineman's head, and they took that.
Yeah, the arm was forward, but the problem is it was going backwards.
Right, they're going to call that a fumble.
Because because the ball is going backwards, like the line towards the line of scrimmage.
It's going to be viewed as a lateral.
Lateral, yeah. Comments here. Kobe Hudson. Haven't really heard much of him tonight. Does that surprise you at all?
Well, I don't want to say I'm not. No, it's not that I'm not surprised. It's the fact of Javon Baker's just done so much. I mean, Kobe Hudson was the top guy of a bad Auburn team. Not to say that he's bad, but Auburn was not a good team last year, and he was the top receiver. But obviously, you can only do so much. Only one guy can get the ball, and between O'Keefe, who they're going to try and find ways to get, and Baker, who's just been a man possessed. There's just not enough time to get someone else in there. I think you'll see him later in the game. I think you'll get more opportunities.
Right now, they're reviewing the play. It's ruling on the field as a fumble.
But again, left side of the line collapsed.
Yeah, you've not been pleased with the left side of the line tonight so far.
Not in the slightest. Yep, it's a fumble. So South Carolina State's going to open it up. And here's the thing. South Carolina State, 3 games, has never scored a point. And now they're
there's somebody in your household that's not happy about that right now.
Well, I mean, there's lots of people who aren't happy. I bet you the dog's not happy. Just her way of showing that displeasure is a little bit different. It's 1st and goal at about the 2-yard line. So it's like a 2-point conversion at this point.
So let's see what the defense looks like for UCF here. 4:52 to go.
Not much there. So, we got 2nd and goal, still about the same spot. I'm going to drink my beer now. So, to get back to the story, it's 2010 conference championship game. We're about 9 rows back around the 42-yard line. And if you remember, Jeff Godfrey takes a run not far from the end zone, and he got pulled down by the collar really hard, and everyone thought it was a face mask. And fans are just going nuts. And my wife jumps up and starts screaming her bloody head off. And up UCF with a really good play on a pitch. Big loss. I mean, there was swarming play there.
Yeah, they weren't fooled on that at all. Great, good pursuit.
A lot of hits in there. Great. John Baptiste was the first man there, but he missed the tackle, but he slowed him down enough that the rest of the team was able to come and finish him off. That's a loss of between 3 and 4 yards. Gives a little bit of breathing space. He got 3rd and goal at about the 6. So
what do you think here? Do you think he brings the house here? Does he blitz?
No, he's coming in with the standard, and UCF actually brings players back and is able to stop. They didn't score. They actually had Kobe Perry, the transfer on the defensive side, actually made that deflection in the back of the end zone to bring up 4th down. I mean, if you notice, you look at it, they're playing a zone coverage right there. And there wasn't anywhere for South Carolina State to go. That was a lot of traffic, that ball.
Are they kicking or going?
They're lining up for the field goal.
Trying to score the first points ever in this big match.
This will be the first points they've ever scored. The kick is up, and the kick is good.
We just saw history.
History in this series.
So already this defense has given up more points to South Carolina State than in previous meetings.
Exponentially more.
Unbelievable.
All because of one of that fumble.
Yeah. 28-3.
I mean, you can see Plumlee on that making a good effort to try to come back, but they had a B on him when it came to having a blocker ready.
What? Go back. Let's go back to the fumble. Some people are saying that's Plumlee's fault, that he should have just run. He waited too long there. Where's the fault there?
He should have tried to pull the ball in and just take the sack. Is what he should have done.
Okay.
But again, the left side of the line has just struggled at maintaining, protection.
And you've been talking about this all camp. Like, this has been an underreported story. Everybody's been the media, mainstream media, especially the TV media here locally, is focused on the quarterback and all that. But really, you and Kyle, to your credit, you guys have been more concerned about the offensive line. It just kind of explain for those that may not have caught some of the episodes why you've been concerned.
Well, you're seeing it. Part of it is they had depth problems last year. People were, they had all this experience, Well, bringing back experience is great, but if it's not great, you have a problem. Now, the weird thing is the way offensive lines work is they're kind of the sum of the parts. You have to basically look at the worst guy in your line, and that's the one you base off of. So you have a good center, you have some good guards, but you have to base what ends up being on the worst guy, and that's been the problem. Is the worst guy has been not great, and you're seeing it. Tylen Grable, he was an FCS All-American, but he's struggling. I mean, he's having a rough day. Now, it could be just first game jitters or just kind of just having an off day. It does happen to the best of them. But he's having a rough game. And that fumble, there's been other plays have been as a result of that left side of the line collapsing. And you can't have that. You need, especially, you need that left side of the line to protect. This is a right-handed quarterback. The left side is the blind side. Enough said.
Well, you feel that might have been part of the reasoning why Plumlee's starting too, right?
Yes, I do. I think that actually is definitely part of it. Let's see. I am going to draft my next.
I know we've been distracted with this fumble and this circumstances that we forgot about your draft. Where are you in this draft?
Let's see. I just drafted my 8th player out of 15.
Okay.
I have most of my starting lineup done, but I have not done yet. I just got my second quarterback in Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford.
So now it's about I still got a couple defenses to pick. I got a kicker to pick, and then depth. It's all about depth. So let's see. South Carolina State kicking the ball off, and this one is going to be returnable at the 2. And O'Keefe has some room to run. He's going to carry some guys out to about the 41 to 42-yard line. There is a flag on the play.
O'Keefe on the kick returns.
Mm-hmm. Which, according to the depth chart, it was either him or Johnny Richardson. So that makes a lot of sense. So you have a holding call against UCF. So
UCF, we've been 3:16 to go here, first half. This probably, what are you thinking here? Last drive for the first teamers here?
Oh, well, it depends how fast. And they're going to be done at the end of the half, at least most of them. I think you may see a different quarterback in the second half. The linemen, I think you'll see the same ones, but I think guys like Bowser is going to be done. I think O'Keefe's going to be done. Probably Javon Baker's going to be done. The linemen will start shifting out probably a little bit later in the quarter just because some of those guys still need more reps. But you're going to see the majority of your skill positions shift out players going into the second half. So anyway, to finish the story, since we have a brief moment, so she's getting up, she's screaming, and I've got this like want to get away moment. The Southwest want to get away. I feel like that's like I want to shrink and disappear. And let's see, a good carry there by Isaiah Bowser. I think that's his best one of the day, right up the middle where he just kind of plows.
Bowser's still in, by the way. I know some people were calling for him to maybe they shut it down for the rest of the night.
Guys in and out, but he's still part of the rotation, and they've run him up the middle a couple of times. Not as much there, but it'd be enough for a first down. He had 9 yards on the first carry, so he got 252 and running in the half. But so she's screaming. I go, Terry, the difference is half a yard. I don't care. They were wrong. At this point, SMU players are turning back, wondering what that screaming banshee is behind them. And it's my 5'1" wife just screaming.
Oh boy!
Yeah, I had this want to get away moment right there. It's like, oh god,
Another carry for Bowser doesn't go not too far here.
Not too far there. They're just trying to milk the clock at this point. But I think they're just trying to get the last little bits out of the carries because he's going to be done for the game. But you need to move the ball a little bit more. You're getting to your 2-minute drill moment, so don't be afraid to pass the ball. In fact, that's what they're doing. Going back to pass, a lot of protection and a terrible throw. Oh boy.
It looked like he stopped though. It looked like a miscommunication. The receiver stopped there on the route. Was he expecting him to keep going?
Maybe because that ball was 15 yards downfield.
Right. We'll see if they show the play again, but he stopped. It looked like he was expecting him to continue to go. Now it's a bad throw or an overthrow or miscommunication. It's some combination.
You can't have those. And that's on both sides. You both have to be on the same page on these plays. He was stopped. And the good thing is there wasn't a defender there, playing deep, but you can't have that. Now he makes up for it with another play, Baker, because that's who he threw to last time.
That's been his go-to guy is Baker. Clearly he's comfortable with Baker there.
You also have to go with who's getting open, and remember the number one corner is going to be on O'Keefe, so Baker becomes a matchup problem. And you take advantage of that. That's that number two guy. That's what people thought was going to happen last year with Jalen Robinson being the number one, O'Keefe being the number two. O'Keefe's going to make the matchup problems. Turned out it wasn't the fact. He just was a matchup problem for everybody. And this year now, that number two guy has got to go up against a really, really talented player. Let's see.
Bowser.
With a catch.
Bowser made more out of that than it probably should have been. It 9 yards. Now they're picking up the tempo here a little bit.
Clock's ticking. Tick, 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 tick.
8 yards officially is the pickup, so 2nd and 2. Change some personnel. Bledson looked like there. He held it. Plumlee held it. He's going to keep it. Oh, gets hit there. Well, and again there, Drew, again, that's my concern. He didn't go down. I mean, there was nothing there.
You're playing with fire.
I mean, he got hit pretty good there.
Yeah, you're playing with fire. That's what it comes down to.
Well, listen, I mean, and we'll talk about this when we have Adam in the fourth quarter, but Adam has brought this up on his show, and I took, that even if you believe that, that's why if you're Mikey Keene, you stay, right? Like there's a good chance you're going to get to play because can this style of running as much as Plumlee is work, for a full season? Can you stay healthy?
Well, it's also do you, you don't, there's no real benefit at this point in leaving. I don't get the whole thing of, I'm going to just leave and go to the portal. You can't play. You can only be a scout. There has to be something really egregious. And apparently it sounded like there were some issues over at South Florida why Timmy McClain left. But I mean, you have to have some real egregious issues to want to leave, during a season or even before a season when it's not even your window to do so.
First down. They gave him a first down, so he got enough for a first. Let's see. He's going to drop back to throw. He's trying to go deep. Nobody's open. He checks down to Bowser. Bowser makes a man miss.
That almost was a horse collar.
Yeah, it was almost horse collar, yeah. Good check down there, though. Good check down. You could tell he was trying to go deep there, Drew. Nothing there, so he checked it down.
Yeah, and we're seeing it again. Not the one and run like the.
Yeah, I think fans are always just gonna jump. We're reading too much. Plus, in the college game, I mean, this ain't the NFL, guys. I mean, the NFL.
Is it
There's a timeout, by the way. A minute to go, first half.
Yes, UCF with one timeout left.
Ooh, Dante Culpepper returns to UCF, part of the halftime festivities on ESPN Plus. So I guess they're doing a feature on Culpepper, and then looking ahead to bowl season. I mean, they must, and then first half recap and stats. So
it's a slow news day.
Yeah, we'll have Trey Neal on at halftime, so we think we'll have a little more entertainment on that one.
It's a slow news day. The best news was me having a fantasy football draft that is still going on.
Well, that's interesting here. What do you think? What do you think about that? That Gamble needs to make that block talked about a couple plays ago there.
I mean, he does. Gamble's made a couple of mistakes. I mean, obviously he's really gifted athletic. That's why he's getting on the field. But he's had some gaffes. He's had a bad drop. He's had a couple of misses. And what a great comeback to Gamble. Plumlee staying poised in the pocket, knew he was going to get hit, unloaded it, great pass, and good pickup.
I'll tell you what, if you're Cossack advisor, you're feeling good. He has a bet with J.P. Gilbert on Gamble, how many catches he'll have this year. He's been involved. I think it's 30 catches. I think it's like 30 catches or something like that. I'm sure they'll inform you.
All right. Well, the line breaks down there. There's a sack, but no fumble this time. He didn't. He pulled the ball in, didn't try to be a hero.
Oh, well, somebody's not happy.
Forget me. I'm not the entertainment of this show.
Clearly, someone in the house not happy that Plumlee didn't throw it away there, Drew.
Yeah, on that note, I get another beer. I did say it was starting to get a little bit warm. Got a little summer shandy in the house. Lining Kugel summer shandy.
Timeout with 37 seconds to go. I think they're going to show the play again here.
Yeah, it just the line breaks down, and it gets around the right tackle. And what are you going to do?
Oh, so you don't agree that should be thrown away at that point? All right.
Yeah, at that point, you're in the pocket. What are you going to do? It's going to be a penalty. Unless you're able to
they show this shot of the student section. You might want to do that now because I have a feeling most of them won't be there by the start of the second half. Next 37 seconds to go here, first half.
Yeah, UCF burned their last time out over this after this last play. Good
second and 17.
Second mile. Let's see. Baker.
We're a little behind them there, right? A little behind.
A little behind him, but I mean, he makes the cut. There's the ball right in his hands. No, there's no excuse for that. None whatsoever.
Actually, you know what? That was a better throw than live. It looked a little behind, but no, you're right. That's got to be caught.
That should have been caught. A good pickup on the block behind the line. Gave enough time for that pass. It was an accurate pass. It was good. Let's see. You got a wide receiver screen cutting back. There's room to run, but you can't go backwards to do it, and he goes really nowhere. So you're going to rush to get the field goal unit on. So,
well, the problem is they have no timeouts, dude. So they have to run. Yeah.
So yes, Trace, they are going to try for a kick. Daniel Barsky is the field goal kicker, and they should get this ball off in time. There's the lineup, and of course he misses it wide right.
Badly.
It wasn't even close. I look forward to the day when they have another kicker who can take his place.
How's Boomer? We have to ask. Can somebody get to ask about Boomer? Need to ask Boomer. Halftime, UCF up 28-3 at the half, but special teams not special.
Or are they?
Oh boy! So 28-3 at the half, UCF there. But overall, some positives there. I mean, give me your thoughts here as we hope to be joined by Trey Neal here in a little bit and his thoughts. But give me your thoughts here halfway through.
I mean, John Rice Plumlee had a pretty good day throwing the ball, 16 of 23, 232 yards, a couple touchdowns, did take a couple of sacks. One, of course, being that fumble that nearly went coast to coast. 10 runs, 81 yards. Obviously, that also includes the sacks in there because college football, for some reason, still puts sacks against the rushing mark for a quarterback. In the pros, it goes against their passing numbers. And I wish college would adapt that.
I wish they would get rid of the double numbers in college, too. It's kind of
silly. But, hey, Isaiah Bowser, 13 for 42 with a touchdown. I did say around 15 carries.
15. You're right at the number. That's 13, right near the number.
Okay, that's good because he makes up for it with 3 catches. So he really had 16 touches when it was all said and done.
Well, let's get the opinion of somebody who's played on that field and knows a thing or two. Of course, former defensive back at UCF, made the great interception in 2017 against Memphis, one of the more memorable plays. Trey Neal joins us here live. Trey, how you doing?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Great.
Give me your thoughts here in the first half.
Defense looks good, man. Defense looks good. I mean, it was pretty solid. I expected them to come out hot, come out aggressive. I mean, they're living up to the hype. That's what they're looking like a really solid team. Offense was clicking. A couple of penalties, but that's kind of expected, just with the energy and kind of being excited. But offensively, they look good. Defense, they look sharp. They're aggressive. They're playing man. They're playing zone. They're mixing it up. That's all you can ask. One thing is the O-line struggling a little bit. I think that that's something that you probably just kind of jitters and stuff. You go against your team so much, you kind of know their tendency stuff. It's different to go against somebody else. So, just seeing different bodies, I think that's something that'll get better. Even in the second half, it should get better, but definitely moving forward.
Yeah, Drew kind of talked about that in the first half as well there. So it's interesting. Kind of expand on that a little bit, both of you there on the offensive line, Trey. What you think it's just jitters? Or are you seeing some issues there beyond that?
Yeah, I think it's just jitters. I think it's just one of those things where, again, you go through camp for 30 days, a month. You know what kind of, pass rush moves these guys are going to give you. Their counters to those pass rush. Those counters to those counters. So I think, just seeing a different body, you can only watch film so much. Just seeing a different body, seeing these guys move, I think that it's just one of those things where you just kind of get the hang of a different kind of, a different kind of body type and different kind of players. So I think it's just stuff that'll be easy. Nothing to really worry about. Not now, at least. If this game 5, game 6 doing that, I think that's a problem. But, game 1, not really an issue.
Yeah, and as Lige Duzable said when he was on recording with the podcast earlier this week, South Carolina State has some pretty good edge guys, and they're making these tackles work. And, you're seeing it. They're especially on that last sack where they just beat them around the edge. That was just a flat-out beat on both tackles. There wasn't anything really special about it. It wasn't like a bad break or something. They were just beat. And especially on the left side, Tylen Grable's just he's having a rough day. I think part of it, as you said, is jitters. I think part of it is it's momentum. You hit a bump and you just can't get on track. And that's where halftime comes in handy. You get to hit the reset button, but I think most of these stars are probably going to be taken out. I can see those guys staying in a little bit longer just to get more. It's a new player to a new system. He's a transfer from I think it was Jacksonville State.
Jacksonville, yeah.
So he's it's a whole new system. Still kind of getting things going. As you know, you could have all the fall practice and you still have stuff to learn. When you're coming into a system.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where, like you said, the jitters and, your first time in the bounce house, it's different. I remember coming on my visit. It's different. And that was 10 years ago, and it's only gotten crazier, it seems like. So I think it's one of those things where you just kind of, adjust to everything, adjust in the environment and just, the guys. And again, like I was saying, I think that's something that, he'll get the hang of it. As far as what I really look for is just like the athletic movements. He's an athletic guy. He's a big guy, but he's athletic. So I think it's just one of those things where he just has to, get the flow of the game, get those jitters out halftime. You can kind of, flush everything and then, go back to work again.
Well, let's look on the defensive side because I know that's your bread and butter. UCF coming in had to hit the portal heavily on the linebacking spot. Jeremiah John Baptiste, you know what he brings to the table. You knew what he was going to do. But let's talk about some of the other guys like Walter Yates. Seen a lot of him in the first half.
Yeah.
Expecting with Jason Johnson as well. Transfer. What are your takes on how the linebackers have done in this first half?
Oh, pretty good. As you saw Baptiste shot out of a cannon that first play. I was like, yeah, and I think that's one of those things where when you see him lead, it makes your job easier. I remember my first year, I was out there with Drico, and I saw him make a play, and I'm like, I've seen this guy make plays all the time. Why can't I do it? So I think that helps a lot with the guys, the new guys like Walter and then the other guys. But yeah, I think they've looked solid. I mean, again, I try not to use as far as the talent they're playing because they're still a good team, but they're playing how they're supposed to play against South Carolina State. We're just going to be honest. They're dominating up front. They're dominating in the back end. They're triggering on their keys, and they look fast. That's the best thing that they can do. They look like they're playing fast, playing physical. That's all you can ask because that kind of stuff, it translates from game 1 to game 6 to the last game of the season.
And that fumble is kind of a freak play right there. I mean,
yeah,
the fact that it was backwards. I mean, just he's kind of being spun around. I mean, the offense hasn't really generated anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
you got the special teams fake punt. That was probably the biggest thing they had. But the offense really. I'm talking South Carolina State's offense.
Oh yeah.
Really hasn't been able to get anything on this defense. And they've had a really strong first half. The defense has.
Yep, and the funny thing is, I was thinking like 4th and 3. I remember just all of my years, you get so excited. You're like, let's go 3 and out, quick 3 and out. Let's in the house. Let's end the game right now. So I think that was smart by South Carolina State to kind of work in a little rugby. If you get a blitz look, just take it. And their punter's athletic, so he took it. But I knew the second time I was like, that's a little risky. But yeah, it was a good call. But other than that, the defense is, I mean, it's lights out. You get even when they got the long fumble recovery, and you got them starting at the 1st and goal on the 1. To come away with 3, I think that speaks volumes to the defense.
That team went backwards.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those things where the defense bowed up and knocked them back. That's all you can ask for. Because it's almost a guaranteed 3. You just want to keep them out of the end zone. Mm-hmm. And I think that's more demoralizing for our offense. Like, we can't even score from the 1. Like, how are we supposed to drive 75 yards on the defense? I think that's one of those things where even though they came up with 3, they're still kind of demoralized from it. So, I think defense lights out right now. Lights out.
Yeah, I think at this point the team in the locker room is kind of looking at the moral victory at this point because there's no real victory here. They knew they were going to get their tails kicked. I mean,
well, what is that approach like, Trey? What is that like? You watch tape. You have to respect your opponent, but you are the superior talented team.
Absolutely.
What is that like to come out, especially on an opener where there's always a lot of uncertainty because it's your first game.
Exactly. Again, that's why I think it's so impressive how they started. For the most part, our offenses look solid. We're having some hiccups on the O-line, but again, I think that's expected the first game. Defensively, I was telling some guys the other day, I expected them to come out looking sharp with just who they return. I'm a big guy on if your back end is, returning a lot of guys, you should have a great defense because you can just say, hey, go play man, we're going to send the dogs. And or you could play this kind of zone. There shouldn't be too many mishaps where the quarterback gets easy plays. They're going to have to work to their routes, working and getting yards. So, again, I think, just being in the first game, I think they came out and played against, a team that they're way more talented than, and they're showing how much more talented they are. Penalties, they happen, but it's something you clean up next week, especially going into the type of game next week. That's something that, you're going to get on the field with a team that's as talented as you or should be. So those penalties, they might come back to bite you, but right now I'm not – you're going to get in trouble, of course, but I'm not really too worried about it. They came out very strong, though, very strong.
What's your thoughts on John Rice? Plumlee, all eyes on him. What's been your thoughts on seeing him in the first half?
He's explosive, man. He's got some juice. You can see he wants to run a lot right now, which, go ahead and do it. But to me, in the long haul, you want to be a point guard. And I think that was the thing that took Mackenzie Milton to the next step. His first year, he was always running the run, and he extended some plays and made some great plays. But, once you turn into that point guard who, okay, now I got to run just because, I think that's when the offense takes a step. And he's a new quarterback working with, I saw a couple of new guys out there that transferred in. So you're working with just getting camaraderie with those guys. And I think that this is the game where you want to, don't run it as much. Just, take what these guys can get you, get your guys involved, get them some mojo going into, especially next week when you're playing a good big game like Louisville. You want to have that kind of, confidence in your guys. So I think that's something that if he comes out I don't know if he's coming out in the second half, but if he does, just let him. We know you can run. We know you're explosive. That was the MO on you since he was a freshman when he went against LSU. We know that. Show us that, you can get these other guys involved and be that point guard that we need.
Yeah, I think his days should be done. There's nothing else to prove at this point.
Yeah.
Now here's the real question: who do they bring out next? Do they bring out Mikey Keene, or do they give Tommy Castellanos a chance against an FCS opponent who's not going to be as on top of things as a FBS opponent would be?
I think you go Mikey. If that's a guy that was the second guy in camp, then you roll with the second guy in camp. If that's how the depth chart plays out. But I do understand then, though, getting the young guy some reps, getting the young guy some some action.
Because he's going to redshirt.
Yeah, he is. He's probably going to get his 4 games somehow, just to maximize.
Well, that's the advantage. You can play 4 games now, whereas before, if you played 1 or 2 games, you had to, you're done. Basically lost it. Yeah, so that's
I love
if you play one snap, you're done. Yeah,
I love the new rules where it's 4 games anywhere in the year because things happen.
Exactly.
I think that's great. It was one of the best changes they've had in college football was having the red shirt rules changed.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think you go Mike just because of the team. I think you go Mikey, probably this third quarter, and then maybe a little bit in the fourth, and then you kind of let everybody see what we're working with our guy with the the young guy.
So you agree with Dr. Six Fingers Esque, who just posted save Tommy for the fourth quarter. So that's what you would do.
Yeah, I'd do it for the fourth just because most of the South Carolina State guys will be out. You don't want it to be too difficult. You want to simplify the playbook, and let guys just get that action of playing college football. I think he should play, but I think if you're going to take out JRP right now, the game is not out of hand, even though it is. But you don't want to have a freshman just going in because, like you just saw, a fumble return almost for a touchdown. That you get a couple of those and you're back in the game, and now. That's crazy. So you want to keep that vet in.
Motivated.
Yeah, exactly. Keep the if you're going to take him out, put another vet in. Mikey, he's seasoned now. He's got a year under his belt. Let him go in, control the offense, and again, show what he can do. If anything happens in the season, we might need him. So I think this is one of those things where it's a perfect time to showcase your skill set as well.
Mike Doty chiming in, by the way, real quick. Do we see Johnny next replacing Bowser?
Well, Johnny's
you start that, and then you, Trey.
Johnny's already started, has gotten a couple carries, not much, but he'll get more play in third quarter, and they're going to pair him up with part of the second unit. So he'll get a little bit of carries, and as we go into the second half, I don't think he's going to stay out the whole quarter. There's no reason to, but just enough to get him, get his feet wet a little bit. 2 carries isn't enough for him. I expected 15 out of Bowser. He got 13 carries and then 3 catches, so it was close.
Yeah, he's probably done most likely.
Oh, he's definitely done. But I think Johnny's got 2 catches, 2 runs. I think he'll give him at least another 4 to 5 carries. 4 to 5,
yeah.
He'll be done. And then you're going to see Mark Antony Richards and finally. And I've been such a fan since spring game of 2021. He was him and Ryan O'Keefe were the 2 guys I highlighted. RJ Harvey is planning to play. I want to see him.
Yeah, I think I think Johnny will get a little bit more involved. I also think that to make that offense as dynamic as possible, you got to kind of save his explosiveness. He's one of the guys in that room that has a different skill set. A lot of those guys are stronger, but Johnny's explosive. He can make a lot of things happen. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to use him, but I think they could be saving something for next week as far as what he brings. That's just what I would do. I would keep it pretty simple right here. Just let your studs be studs. Let them play. If you want to get him his touches, of course, but I wouldn't see anything too fancy or anything crazy.
I'm always curious about this in these type of games. Do coaches give you a heads up on when you're coming out? Obviously, they don't. Give us what is it like? Do they? They obviously don't tell you during the week in practice because they don't want you to think that. But during the game, take me through that communication. How does that work when hey, you're done? Do you sense it as a player? Give me the breakdown. What's it like?
Yeah, it's one of those things where at the beginning of the week, we never underestimate any opponent, but they're blatantly honest. They say you guys are more talented than them. You work harder than them. You're bigger, stronger, faster. All the whole 9 yards. But so we kind of have an idea like, hey, we go dominate. As starters, we're done at halftime or by halftime, depending on the score. And then it's just one of those things where in the game, say you make a play, a splash play, coach is like, you're done. Like, they don't want you to risk getting hurt just to make more plays. And especially when you got young guys behind you, get them some reps because you never know when you're going to need them. So it's one of those things where, again, I think I'm expecting maybe one more series for the back end guys who are, they're 4 or 5 guys deep. I know right now that have played a lot of ball or at least a year. So I would expect them to kind of, tail off a little bit and put some more young guys in because, again, injuries, you never know when they're coming. You never know when they're coming and who they're coming to. So, just this is the game where they're, you'll be done by maybe one more drive, and then you'll start seeing the young guys get in and get their feet wet as well.
Tell me about you and I talked last year during night shift when I had you on during the post game shows, and we'll try to sneak you in there a couple times during the year on the post games when Drew's like showing off back in the press box in his normal setup there. But you love the T. Will's defensive scheme.
Yeah.
Explain the audience what is it about his scheme that you think players just thrive on and like playing in it.
I think just aggressiveness. I've never been a guy on defense. First of all, defense isn't aggressive. That's the whole point. We want you to go run as fast as you can and hit people and make plays. That's aggressive. That's what football is. But once you're aggressive like that, I think if you embrace that as a defensive coordinator, your guys will love going to play for you. If you're blitzing and showing blitz but not blitzing, doing just a whole bunch of crazy stuff to make the offense think, and then you can play fast. I think that's what guys love, and I think just he empowers his guys that they can do stuff and that they can do anything that he asks of them. And I think especially going into year 2, those guys you can see they're kind of thriving. They're playing really confident, and I think that's what kind of was iffy last year, was maybe just a little bit of confidence, but now they look really confident. Obviously they should against South Carolina State, but they look really confident. I think that's just what Coach T. Will does. He instills that confidence in those guys, and that's what that's the energy they thrive off of.
Drew, where were you when Trey Neal made the interception against Memphis? I feel like that's like where were you moment right there. So I was in the press box doing stats for the national radio broadcast when he made the pick, and I'll never forget seeing Trey in the locker room afterwards, and he's holding on to that football.
Oh yeah, still got it, still have it.
He still has it. Where were you, Drew?
The first and only time I ever got to be in the Tower Club. So the conference dictates the pricing for that game, not the school. The school charges a lot more for the all you can eat and all these other things. They were only charging $75. The conference was charging $75 for the ticket, face value.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna go buy that one. Come on, how often do you get to not be with the plebeians? You get to pretend you're rich and stuff and eat all the food. So yeah, I did that. It was my one and only game I ever got to experience it from the Tower Club, and I was sitting in my seat. I had the leftovers of a cheeseburger next to me that I chowed down at halftime, and I was celebrating with the rest of them. That stadium went absolutely insane.
Oh yeah, it was insane. And the crazy thing is, when it first happened, it was like I don't even remember yelling. It wasn't until I came out of the dog pile that I realized how loud it was, and I was like, oh my God. And then some of my family members, my brother had recorded it live, so it was pretty loud. So I could only imagine, just reliving it and being actually there, just hearing all the screaming and stuff.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I've been on the field at the bounce house. That place is made for noise.
Oh yeah.
You get them into a frenzy, and it's just deafening down there.
Oh yeah. I believe it. I know a couple of, especially on third downs. Oh my goodness, it's like just something activates within those fans, and it's loud. It's loud.
And the thing is, you being on defense, you obviously it's very loud when it's third down, coming towards you, but you're kind of locked in on the offense. You don't have to worry so much because at that point the linebackers have already talked to you. You've kind of pointed out your adjustments and everything. Yep. And at that point, the noise doesn't matter. But that offense having to deal with that all the way through the snap, you basically have to do silent counts at that point.
Yep. I remember we
out of 45,000.
Yeah, we used to practice and be like, listen, we'd be like, before third down happens, we have to get the call, get the checks, because we're not going to be able to make it. We can't scream. I remember I would be next to KG or Kyle Gibson, and he'd be 10 yards away. If we didn't get the call, I would tell him every time, I'm like, you have to look at me before every single third down, because if we are not on the same page, we'll give up a touchdown on third down. And as loud as it was, it'll be eerie silent. And that's the worst feeling, is when you have that loud and give up a touchdown. But, it's one of those things where we just practice, second down plays made, get your eyes on the sideline. If you don't get it, look back at us, because we're in behind everybody. If somebody's looking back, we'll tell you, like, hey, this is the call, this is the check, let's go. Because we know how loud it gets. And I think that's an advantage, too, just practicing, getting used to it.
Yeah, and the opposite of it is a crowd cheering isn't booze, it's not love, it's hate, it's apathy, it's silence. You want to mess a team up, be silent at them.
Yeah.
And they're going to be very confused.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. If you're not hearing anything, you're going to be like, is there a timeout? Is there a pause in the game? Like, what's going on? Why is it so quiet?
Here?
Yeah, like, what's going on? That being at a football game and not hearing anything is never good for anybody. So.
They just started, about to start the second half. Are you able to stay with us for a couple of drives here, Trey? I know I told you halftime, but I'm enjoying the interaction here we're having.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. So I want to make sure you're good to go as far as able to still watch it with us here for just another drive or two as you go into the darkness. Did Trey go dark?
We have started and we have a really good sack by Justin Hodges, who, again, I called him out earlier, playing that flex position. That night, you need a guy who has the speed of a defensive back with the tackle technique and strength of a linebacker. Now you got.
Oh yeah, he's one of those guys for me. He's special. I saw him last year making a lot of plays, and just the flexibility with him, being able to play in that night position, which is kind of a hybrid slot safety, kind of linebacker kind of guy. But I think he's special.
By the way, the telecast is trying to show us up here. They got Gabe Davis now in the booth here to start the second half. They're talking to Gabe Davis. They took our idea, Drew.
That's okay. I mean, they got more money than we do. They're able to say, hey, we got chicken wings. Why don't you come over with us? I've got this bottle of beer and I live 2.5 hours away. You can come over to my house.
There's Hodges with a sack there, right?
Yeah, we've already got the 3 and out.
Wow.
There's a punt by South Carolina State with a very favorable bounce. It's going to stop about the 32 to 33 yard line of UCF. That's where they're going to start the second half. Just under 13 and a half minutes to go. So we are in it. In the second
Trey. Drew's got incredible video stream. He's always ahead of us, just as a warning.
I see.
I'm not on the Wi-Fi.
I think these guys
wired in
now. Yeah, I think
Plumlee coming out here. Plumlee out here. You surprised?
Wow,
that's interesting. Yeah,
the whole first unit's still out there. Bowser's out there. They're still going at it. So
to me, that means that
they're not satisfied.
I don't think Gus is happy with how that first half went. Whether it's just small stuff they want to work on. Because they have 28 points. I'm in the first half. I'm not complaining, but there's something that they want to work on, that they want to keep the offense out there for. It could be something as little as he didn't like the conditioning on the 2 minutes that he wants to work on. So it could be anything, but he's not happy about something, as you can see.
Yeah, and they've run it twice with Bowser up. First one was kind of off tackle. This one's a little closer towards the middle. I'd actually like to see Plumlee throw the ball a little more. I wasn't overly thrilled with his first half. He had that deep pass to O'Keefe, but that was threading the needle in double coverage against anyone better. That's a good interception. You don't throw that. And then there was a number of plays that had miscommunications. They weren't on the same page. I want to see him throw more, even if they don't convert. I want to see him pass more.
And that's what I was hinting at a little bit earlier. Just get because we know you can run. We know you're a freak athlete. I mean, he's a dual sport guy in college. There's not a lot of people doing that. But get your guys involved more and get some throws with them. Get some rhythm down with those guys. I think that's big, especially just going in like I said, going in as a new starter. With new faces out there too, trying to get that rhythm with those guys going.
Absolutely. So
Yep.
UCF had to punt 4th and 3. Great coverage. Looked like Hodges down at the other end. For a short return. I'm really impressed with his tackle technique. I mean, he's got kind of, you see sides of the defensive back. I'm going to go for the legs, and then you see occasionally him wrap more like a linebacker. I love seeing the tweener when he rises up to the occasion. It's not easy. I mean, you know it. It's not easy to be the size of a defensive back, but have the expectations to hit like a linebacker. I mean, that's not easy.
Yeah, especially just and the thing is, they'll play him. He's got the trifecta. They want him to be able to cover like a corner, hit like a linebacker, but be able to communicate and know the entire defense like a safety. So I think that's just proves how valuable and how intelligent and athletic this guy is. He's a good player. I think he's got to do it all. He has to be a jack of all trades, as we called it when I was there. So.
Yeah, and he's only a junior, so
he's got another year,
he's
but
be around for another year. So
hopefully, unless he goes crazy, and then we only get him for the
let's
rest
be
of
optimistic
the fall,
here.
yeah. So optimism. Yeah, he's probably got he has another year left, but he's playing some really good football, man. He's a good player.
Yeah, another guy I'm really impressed with, and we just saw him right there. Nicky Martinez, true freshman with the quarterback sack. I probably jumped you guys a little bit on that one.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Came off the edge and just untouched, good wrap and finish. That's a true freshman.
Oh yeah,
and he's been hyped during camp. I've enjoyed watching. He's been on a few plays in the rotation today, and he's made plays anytime he's been around the ball.
That's good, and that's all you can ask for from a freshman, man. He's this is the big leagues, high school now. Now that he's gotten his feet wet, this is nothing like high school. And I used to tell, I remember telling Brandon Moore when he was a freshman out there, and Richie Grant, I told him, I'm like, listen, y'all guys already played one play. You guys aren't freshmen anymore. Like, welcome to the big leagues. You guys, I'm gonna treat you guys just like an old guy now. I'm not treating you like freshmen like I did in the spring, like I did in camp. I'm treating you guys like I need you to know what you're doing. And I kind of did that because that's how I was taught when I was a freshman by Shaquille and Drico Johnson and DJ. That's how they taught me, and Clayton Gathers. They taught me, hey, you're a freshman for one play, and now guess what? You're a vet. Now you play college football. There's nothing different every play. So let's act like it.
Clayton Gathers is now part of the staff.
Yeah,
I know. I saw. I was up there during ELO during the softball when they were hosting regionals, and I went over there and talked to them. Man, it's crazy small. It's crazy how the world works, man. It's crazy.
Punt down to the 15-yard line.
We're getting old.
Yeah. Golly, I remember I asked one of those guys if they knew who Clayton Gathers was, and they were like, "Huh?" I'm like, Clayton was probably one of the best. Yeah, if not the best, one of the best safeties to come through. And then he went and played in NFL 4th round. I mean,
I think so. Yeah, he's going to be. He should get consideration to be a future UCF Athletic Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think he should. I mean, he's got a crazy amount of tackles just from safety. Yes. I mean, it's absurd. He's a 4-year starter. I think the only guy that I've ever seen that was just as good as him, just from production wise, is probably Richie. And I think both of those. Yeah, I think both of those guys are. They're Hall of Fame.
Kamal Ishmael, another one that was really good.
Kamal had himself a good NFL career in Atlanta.
Yep, exactly. And I think those.
Speak to that.
That's the level.
Speak to that, Trey, because about that tradition of being a defensive back and a safety. I mean, I'm sure that's part of the reason why you came to UCF, of that history, that the success they've had there.
Exactly. I remember when I was on my visit, it was me, Kyle Gibson, and Chris Williams, and they had us with Clayton Gathers. And I didn't know exactly who he was. I knew he was really good, though, just because the way that they spoke about him. But I remember seeing him just practice. I was like, this is what it takes to get to the NFL. And they're like, oh, yeah, Clayton's his whole – I remember they were saying, like, his family, a lot of NFL guys. So they were like, oh, yeah, he's an NFL guy. And I was like, I mean, he works tirelessly hard. And he was the most physical safety I've ever been around. In my entire life, really. He would hit everybody like a linebacker, and he didn't blink. And that was one of those things that that I'm starting to see. Hodges does a little bit. He's just running, and he's not blinking before he hits. He's running with his eyes wide open, trying kill somebody. So I think it's one of those things with, I was drawn to that when I was coming to UCF, and that's just the footsteps that I wanted to follow in, and then I wanted to set that example for the guys below me too.
So based on that, how was it for you when you kind of evolved from the new guy to a young guy to the elder statesman who everyone looked at? How did that progression work?
I mean, it's the circle of life. It's one of those things. I got there as a freshman. I'm third string, not getting any reps. I'm just trying to soak it all in, and I'm frustrated. I came from a really high level school that played high level in Buford. I mean, they're top 10 in the country right now. So I was expecting, I'm coming in to play some football now because I felt like I had that acumen and ready. And when I got there, I'm like, oh my gosh, like physically, I'm not there at all. Preparing wise, I'm not there at all. So it was a humbling experience, but it was also great to just be able to sit back and watch guys do it. And then especially guys that ended up going to the NFL, I had the blueprint. That was my goal all the time, was to get there. So I had the blueprint. And then, you just kind of grow. And I was kind of thrown in the fire early. I was starting when I was a redshirt freshman. And I was out there with a whole bunch of vets and juniors and seniors. So to me, I just always wanted them to know that they could trust me. So I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing all the time on defense. I didn't want to be looked at as a freshman. I wanted to kind of just blend in, and that was my goal. And that was kind of the thing that I used to tell when it got to my time to be an old guy, old head in the room. I tried to tell the young guys, you want to be able to, for us to trust you, we don't want to worry about you on the field. We don't want to have to tell you everything every time, every play, because we have our own stuff to think about. And I think that's just kind of the circle of life that I think everybody goes through. And you have those special guys who, like a Jemias Pittman, who he's starting games as a true freshman, playing for 4 years, and then guys like Clayton who start for 4 years. Those guys are special. That's why I call them Tristan Hill. Guys like that, they start for 4 years. But for the most part, guys are going to wait their turn and learn how to be what we say, learn how to be a pro. And then that's what Coach Fish, that was my DB coach. That's what he always preaches: learn how to be a pro.
So let's take that to the next step as far as your chronological time. How do you adjust from being the elder statesman on a team, because we're seeing it now with the transfer portal, to being a new guy in a new program, but one of the old guys? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for me, when I ended up going to Nebraska, that's pretty much the role that I was in. I was the new guy, but I was the oldest in the room, in my DB room. So it's one of those things where at first I just wanted to get a feel for the guys. I would go hang out with them, whatever they're doing, go eat with them, talk to them, just about stuff outside of football, just to kind of get a feel for what drives them, what motivates them, what makes them go. And then once you do that, then you kind of assert yourself in certain spots. You don't ever want to assert yourself too much, but you want to assert yourself in spots that are expected of an older vet. And I think that's always the hardest part, is knowing when. And I don't think there's ever a right time for it, but when that you need to assert yourself. So I think just with the transfer portal, like I remember last year it was a Big Cat. He was a captain as a transfer, and I'm like, that's great, because those guys respect you enough to where even though you're new to the program, they respect how you work and how you go about your business. So I think those things are kind of huge, and just getting a feel for it.
All right, so to kind of catch up on the game where we're at, it's 3rd down and long for UCF.
Starter's still in, guys. Starter's still in.
Plumlee tried a deep ball to Javon Baker. Turned out to be slightly underthrown into double coverage. One of the Bulldog defenders gets shaken up on the play. They just escorted him off the field. But again, you're going for the home run ball, a little underthrow, and it ends up in double coverage. And you can't do this against good teams. This is going to come back to haunt you.
Well, let me ask you both. Let me ask you this straight. How much you mentioned? John Rice, Plumlee, really young starter. Is this why he's still in? Because they're working on this stuff. Because he is not a veteran starting quarterback. He doesn't have a lot of reps. Is this part of the reasoning here?
Absolutely. I think just they're playing. I can see they're playing a long game. I wouldn't be surprised if he finished out this quarter, and then you see him late. But they it's because he's young, and again, you have to just it's one of those things where you can watch as much film as you want, but if you can't make the reads or make the decision that Coach Malzahn wants, then you got to stay in and show them that you're going through the right progression, because again, it's a long game. This game is always the warm up. This is where you just want to see yourself compete against different guys who are competing as hard as they can, and make sure you're going through the right reads that you probably shown during practice. And I think they just want to have some good film to review and some corrections, because now they play on Friday next week. So it's technically, this is a long week that they'll have. They'll play today, probably off tomorrow, and then Saturday they'll probably be watching film again, just breaking it down and seeing stuff. So I think that's why Malzahn's going to keep them in, just to get more stuff on film that they can correct or show some more good, and just get a good grip of what they're going to be dealing with and what they need to improve on.
Well, they're going to improve on the special teams here, Drew, because we just got a block punt.
We got a block punt. UCF jumped on top of it, but it's going to be South Carolina State ball deep in UCF territory, and we have night down. But
Disaster.
It's a weird blocking formation. Left the entire gap on the right side. I mean, it was a little bit of a head scratcher, especially when you have the blocking schematics behind the line. I'm not sure what they were thinking there, but that's where the guy came in. He came in unobstructed, and not even a bump, nothing.
That's definitely miscommunication. Yeah, nobody ever should come scot-free like that with not on punt. You should at least get chipped. Like, I got it if he would have chipped, but he just coming scot-free. So that's a miscommunication or a miscount or something. But I'm interested to see what defense, if they've seen the ones back on there, maybe this is it. But I'm interested to see how they go about this, because to me, like, it might not be what the fans want, but this is the kind of stuff that the players need.
They need stuff to go wrong, because they need stuff.
Yeah, you need a little controversy and a little bit of adversity to hit. I think that's what made my year special. The 2017 team, it felt like adversity every game. I mean, we cruised through some games, but just some adversity. It felt like every game we were fighting, and that's all you can ask for, just to fight.
Well, it looked like it got to the point where the defense largely was fighting itself, because you have that much, and touchdown, South Carolina State, first play, pass to the right towards the right corner of the end zone, about halfway through, pitch and catch, great looking pass there, but having 10 games in a row, no break because of the hurricane throwing everything off, it got to the point where you kind of, it wasn't that you were fighting each other, it's that your own fatigue was fighting you.
Oh yeah. We tell people that all the time. That recovery, I mean, you're just taking a beating. And really, I tell people that where we really started to feel it was after that Navy game, the triple option, because if we were getting hit every play, somebody's getting hit, somebody's getting cut, we're getting flipped, we're landing on our backs, our sides, our heads, we're landing, and that's not normal football. And I think, we can run and play spread football and, tackle in space and all that all day, catch interceptions all day. But when you go to that Navy game where you're hitting, I mean, we played, I think, 60 snaps. We got hit 60 times. There's some plays where we don't even get hit. Sometimes playing safety and corner against, like, when we played Memphis, there's some games, some plays I wasn't tackling. I didn't touch anybody. I was just backpedaling, sprint, and then I was done. But that Navy game took a toll. I think that's where we started feeling like, all right, it's Monday practice. My legs feel heavy like I just played 12 hours ago. And I think that's where, shout out to Miss Mary and the training staff. They were taking care of us. We were at fluids, nutrition stuff for us after practice, massages, ice tub, hot tub, everything. They were just making sure we could keep our legs. And same thing with the coaching staff. They were making sure that, we had proper breaks. Practice wasn't going for 2.5 hours. So.
Yeah,
are they reviewing? Are they reviewing if this is targeting or a catch? What
I don't
targeting?
know. That for targeting, Devon Wilson with a question.
Well, this is significant. This is significant if what they call.
Yeah, because he'll be out the next half.
Mm-hmm.
The first game.
That would be very significant, and it could go either way on that. They're looking if he led with the crown of the helmet.
Well, Drew, if only we had a defensive back to analyze, describe because this is, you guys get picked on this rule to some extent.
Yeah, and I think now they just throw it to be safe. I hate it, of course, because there's a physicality in the game that we're losing because of the way we're having to teach guys to tackle. But yeah, I mean, leading with the crown it's dangerous for both players. That's another way to you
all I
can
think
break
is
the neck.
It's Eric LeGrand. I go back. I always look back on that.
Yeah, exactly. I think he played for
paralyzed.
Rutgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's one of those things where that's the worst outcome, but it's so simple and quick. So I think that there's a safety component, but I'm always about just hitting. So he definitely has to keep his head up. If that's what they're going for, then that's what they gotta just see what you hit. That's I know they tell us that when we're 6 years old, but it's so difficult in the split second of a moment you're thinking about it.
Right. Trey, we're speaking with Trey Neal, by the way. Right here, the third quarter is 28-10. UCF with the lead. So special teams. I want to ask his special teams here real quick because Trace brought up special teams in air quotes. Trey, I remember that 17 team, obviously with Mike Hughes, such a great special teams kicking game.
Oh yeah.
We really haven't been at that level in special teams in a while. Do you? I mean, that's a part of the area that I'm kind of still concerned about.
Yeah, and that's understandable. Again, just being at the level, it's hard to get that electric to where the standard that Mike Hughes set, and sometimes even Adrian Killings. I remember when he was a freshman, he takes a couple of kicks back. Those guys were special, man. Those guys they're NFL guys. That's a talent that everybody doesn't have that talent to be able to return kicks like that. So I think when you have a solid return game, but we had a special. I mean, we won. We literally were winning games because of our return game. USF, for example, Mike Hughes. But there's those guys being able to take those kicks back. It changes the whole dynamic, and I think that's what they're trying to find. I saw on the depth chart the other day they had like 3 or 4 guys rotating on kick return and punt return duties. Because they're trying to figure out, what guy can, even if you don't give me a touchdown, can you give me 20 yards? Can you give me 30 yards? Can you give me 10 yards? That's a difference. 10-yard return versus a 30-yard return is a huge difference, momentum-wise, field position-wise. Now, I know there's some crazy stats that used to tell us, like, if you start past the 27-yard line on your return, you're this % likely to score. So, I mean, they have it broke down to science. I don't know now, but I know there's, numbers behind it. So that's why it's so important. So I think right now they're just trying to work on it and, find what guys that can make those splash plays. That's why I think, Johnny Richardson thrives from his ability.
Now, speaking of running backs, let me ask you, because you were talking about rules. What's your take on the blocking rule change that's happened with cut blocking on the outside?
On the perimeter cut blocks?
Mm-hmm. As a defender who's been probably the receiving end of those blocks before.
I've always thought it was not cheap, but because it's legal. But for me on defense, if you're gonna come block me in my face. Don't try to take my legs out up under me. So I'm glad it's gone. If I were an offensive player, of course, I wish I could cut because it's an easy way to get players' feet on the ground. And even if you don't get a clean cut block, it's hard to stop a cut block because we're not expecting anybody to cut us ever. It's just one of those things where we react to it. And a lot of the times, if you're good at selling it, you'll flip us on our head. So I'm glad they kind of got rid of it for the purpose of, again, and that's player safety as well, just from ACL tears and landing crazy and just I'm glad they got rid of it. If you want to block me, come block me. Be a man about it and block me.
All right, so kickoff by South Carolina State. Short kick got to the 10. Return by O'Keefe up to midfield and another flag on the play. We're seeing what it's going to be. And it looks like holding on UCF. Big surprise. Let's move it back and start over. Have you noticed every good return has had a holding call? I mean, as you said, having things go wrong is not a bad thing in this situation.
Oh, wait, some good news, by the way. Good news, by the way, to let the audience know who's tuning in. No targeting was the official ruling there.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's good news.
That is good news.
That's very good, especially see now that it's 28-10. I don't know if you take them out, man.
It's still kind of 8:06.
It's up in the air.
Maybe if you score a touchdown this drive. If not, I mean, it's more of get back out there until you do it right.
Yeah, and you have to earn your right. I remember they used to tell us that you guys have to earn your right to come off the field if you don't want to, against these kind of games. Of course, everybody wants to play, But we used to play as hard as we could because we wanted the young guys to get some playing time because we knew when it came down to nut cutting time, they're not going to be out there. They're going to have the vets out there, the guys that they trust. So we know, the best way to get you guys some action is we handle our business to get you guys out there. So that's how we went about it. But until they can earn their way off, I'd keep them out there. Of course, you don't want the guys getting hurt, but you guys they gotta work, man. Offense got to pick it up a little bit. Defense got to bow up a little bit as well.
And you're looking at, again, game momentum. And South Carolina State's got all the momentum right now. It may be a 28-10 game, but all the momentum is in SC State's favor. And a lot of it is self-inflicted by UCF. They made, right there, a dropped pass. The holding calls on multiple kickoffs. I mean, these are self-inflicted wounds here.
Exactly. And you don't want these kind of guys a wounded dog to hang around because you don't know what can happen. And that's the big thing about momentum is it can swing back and forth. So right now I want the offense to go make a big play, go make a splash play, or have a good drive to where everything's working. Go out there and set the tone and let these guys know, like, hey, we let you guys hang out around here a little bit too long. Let's go out and handle business. So I think that's the kind of conversation you're gonna have.
All right, so we just had a big play. Kamor Gamble with a big catch and run. He was wide open. That was a hard throw by Plumlee. He's running to the right. He throws across his body. The spiral was tight and on.
Might be his best throw of the night.
That was a great throw, right on target, and made for a big gain on after a really bad drop by Kobe Hudson. We haven't heard that name in quite a bit.
Yep.
There you go.
Trey Campbell, I think he could be a weapon like Jordan Akins was in that tight end position, which, big playmaker there.
I mean, Jordan Akins is a freak, man. That guy was his speed.
Tell me about it.
Oh, estimate. That guy's not human.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Akins was a wide receiver that had the body type of a tight end. That's the only reason he went to tight end was because it was like, dude, you are a mismatched nightmare if you play tight end. I mean,
tight ends keep up with that man.
Yeah, I mean,
he can run like
a deer. Yeah, he's running like a deer, and you see that a little bit with Gamble. He's an athletic build. I remember I saw him at the softball game, and he's got a good a little athletic build to him. And I mean, you can see right now he's a good runner. He's physical, and he can run a little bit too.
And UCF just gets into the red zone on another Plumlee run out of bounds into the down to the 18-yard line. So obviously this screams screen. Whenever you see they let all the linemen in, it's a screen pass, but you got to make the throws. Plumlee airmails it out of bounds, second down.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's going to be hard to judge because I think Malzahn's keeping it very vanilla. I mean, even just remembering what he kind of ran a little bit last year, and just in the past, I think he's keeping it, vanilla for these guys right now. I think he doesn't want to give away, the whole package of the offense on film yet, which is smart gamesmanship.
I mean, you got a big game next week, so I mean, there's not much there. Let's see, Johnny Richardson with a flare to the outside. He's going to catch it. He's going to thread right up the middle, and he's going to go all the way. Touchdown UCF.
Yep. And that's the explosiveness that he brings, man. He's explosive.
A lot of good blocking on that one. Good blocking downfield.
Down the field, yep.
You can see Alec Holler to the left. You see O'Keefe to the right, and it just opens up that middle lane for him to just go right through. And when Johnny has room to turn on the rockets, I mean, he
can go.
Fastest guys on the team.
Yeah, he can go. He's special. I think that was one of the things that 2013, that Fiesta Bowl year, the perimeter blocking was amazing. I remember used to watching the highlights of those games. It seemed like every touchdown they had, somebody had a big block, whether it was Rennell Hawk Speedy or Josh Reese or JJ or somebody was always having a huge block downfield.
Well, I think George was all about those receivers blocking, block, no block. I mean, he was big on that.
Yep, no block, no block. I remember that. They used to have just drills where it was just we backpedal and they try to block us and we just run into each other for about 10 minutes. So, he was big on that. And he was big on, like, our DBs being able to disengage off of blocks and get off of blocks. So, That was probably a daily occurrence. We do that. Yeah, he was big on that.
With that
Oh my
quotation,
gosh.
fun.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Especially it was a lot more fun when he was standing right there watching every single rep too. So.
Now, did he ever crack a smile in practice?
Oh yeah, I mean,
I know he's got a very dry sense of humor. You kind of have to read between the lines with him.
And to me, I always thought he was a funny guy. I always tried to stay out of his way, obviously, but I always thought he was funny. I thought his sense of humor was different. And it's not for everybody, but I'm a guy that I laugh at pretty much everything. So I know I laugh at dry humor, dark humor, just straight up funny humor. I just enjoy laughing. So I always thought he was a funny guy. He was old school though, so old school doesn't even do it justice. He's very old school in his approach.
He makes old school feel young.
Yeah, very much.
All right, so UCF with the sizable lead at this point, 35-10, restored a little bit of that momentum, had a really strong drive. John Rice Plumlee settled down a little bit. Now he's 19 for 30, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns. Isaiah Bowser's hit 20 carries. At this point, you're at 20 carries. Do you take him out, even though the game may not be where exactly that you want it to be?
Yeah, I would probably take him out, especially just seeing Johnny right there make some plays. I'm taking him out just because I know how crucial he was to the offense, especially last year. I know the offense was really solid up until one, and then once he got hurt, you could tell we missed that physical presence that he would bring. So I think you kind of take him out. 20 carries is a lot in a regular game. So just take him out, keep him healthy. I think that's where you go. Right now, we need the defense to get a 3-and-out right here, put him away. That's what we need.
Yeah, you gotta at that point just you got them on the ropes. They were just starting to feel a little bit of confidence, like, hey, maybe we got a chance.
Mm-hmm. Put the knockout punch right here.
Knockout punch. Obviously 38-10, 38-0, very different scores. Just especially after that fumble, and then just the special teams. I mean, that block punt was, on UCF side was just a head scratcher, but on South Carolina side, state side, you have to be really excited with what you're seeing against a team that's vastly better. Remember, UCF is receiving some votes in the top 25, so obviously.
Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna brag. I want to brag for a second. They just showed the Shannon Doherty softball highlights on the jumbotron here coming back. So whoever, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Trey, you better clap too. Your better half. Your better half will definitely will appreciate that.
She loved it. She loved it.
Eric, who made that call?
I don't know, but I appreciate that. They were. I was seeing that. Like, wait, that's Shannon Doherty. I'm seeing there on the jumbotron there. That could be pretty cool.
All the time, I'm like, man, this team is. I remember just going and looking. I'm like, they look completely different from just when you guys were playing, and it's not a bad thing because I think the same thing about the guys on the football team now. I'm like, y'all look like some big time athletes, and they do, and they play. It's beautiful. They're a really really good team. I think they kind of got the short end of the stick the way the brackets fell with so many.
But you knew that was going to happen. I knew that for the trade off was, hey, yeah, you get to host, but you're going to have to deal with Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's a generational team. What are you going to do?
Yeah. That's a top probably 5 team ever, I think, and debatable for the best ever.
Easily. Yeah,
what are you going to do? They were the number 1 pitching team and number 1 hitting team. What? That's it. That's all softball is hitting the pitching and fielding. That. Yeah. That's it. So.
And they're getting every transfer portal player too. They're
which understandably. But I was telling her I feel like with those things it should be like, say somebody upsets in the regional. All right, now Oklahoma, you play the lowest seed, and I think if that's how you it shakes out a little bit better. For UCF's hand, I think.
Look, if
they might have been able to host they probably would have been able to host Super Regional.
If they were the 15, they would have hosted Mississippi State the way it would have played out.
You never know what happens.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Well, I love that.
I think I think
that'd be cool to see. It sets the stage, for this year. They've lost a few players, but this is still it was a young team. And
Oh yeah.
You had some youth on that team.
Mhm.
So, obviously, youth in the hitting, the pitching needs a little bit of replacement work.
Mhm.
It's going to be a very competitive team, and next year just up the ante on that competition. So you're
Exactly.
setting the stage for a very competitive run.
Yep. And I think it's another one of those things where now that you guys, they played the best of the best. That's Oklahoma that's as good as it might ever get. So I mean, you guys have played it. You guys understand where you're at, but now you know where you have to be, where you have to work, how you have to work, and take yourself to that next level. So I think it's always good to find the good in everything. So
We got a comment here. Football fan 28's comment. It's ironic that Plumlee struggles with the short stuff and is good with the deep passes, and Mikey's great on the short passes but bad on the deep passes. Is that accurate? What's your reaction?
I'm going to put an asterisk on that, as long as he doesn't throw in double coverage.
yeah, he's taking some risky throws. I think the short stuff. If he's missing that, to me, that's just you're overthinking it. I think he's trying to be too perfect instead of just throwing it. But yeah, I mean, it's quite a conundrum, I think that's why he's leaving him in. It's crazy to me that he's playing this long, just because of
we're down to 344. Got a 344 left here in the third. We'll see.
Yeah.
So UCF's getting the ball back. South Carolina really went nowhere. They just punted it, and
we lost yards.
Tried to return it and went nowhere.
Yeah.
Great open field tackle.
Yeah, I mean, South Carolina State's not a bad team. I think they won their conference last year.
They
against Jackson State, and that's that Deion team, and they're going to be coached up well. So they're not a bad team.
That team just the Jackson State wet the bed against that.
Yeah, they
game.
did. Absolutely.
Celebration Bowl, flat out wet the bed, and so as a result,
Is he still out there? Is that it?
Championship. Let's see, Johnny Richardson, a nice first down chunk yardage play on the left side. Good amount of yards, but we're starting to see some of the second unit, but not all of it. Like you saw Jalen Griffin
sprinkling a couple of guys in,
there. But you still got Ryan O'Keefe just got a wide receiver screen, turned a big loss into a small gain.
Plumlee still in
there, so you're still seeing
that's interesting.
Starters out there, Kobe Hudson, but let's see. I don't see Javon Baker out there anymore, at least at the moment. And he's had himself a game. I mean, he's looked really.
He's a player, man. He's good.
Yards to the touchdown. He's definitely the big winner of the receivers at this juncture.
Yeah, definitely. He's a good guy. He's a good player.
These are the kind of runs right here that Plumlee just runs here that you have to be concerned about. That he's leaning in with his shoulder. Granted, it was his non-throwing shoulder that leaned into it, but still, you're taking a hit. I mean, look at what happened to Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield tore the labrum in his non-throwing shoulder. I've had torn labrums in both shoulders. It's debilitating. It changes what you do. I've had to have both of them reconstructed as a result, and it gets to the point where you start compensating. You start bringing your arm in because you don't. Eventually, it gets to the point where the muscles are the only thing that keeps your shoulder in its socket. Otherwise, it'll fall right out.
Exactly. It's one of those.
You can't lean in like that.
Nope. Yep. Exactly. That's the thing. We've always went into when we're playing defense, just quarterbacks in the slide. So if one time you start leaning in with your shoulder trying to truck, it's on. Like that's what we want because we know you don't hit every day. We know you don't hit every practice. We know you're not allowed to get hit. So you might catch us once, but to me, I'm just like slide, man, because those guys on defense, I don't care. If you're playing defense, you want to hit somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And you always want to hit the quarterback. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I would have loved to hit McKenzie, but I know the greater good. But, it's just one of those, it's just because
you want to take that swagger down a few steps.
Yeah, he's just skating around, juking out everybody. And I'm just like, ooh, if I could just get one lick, he'll never do it again. But, it's just one of those things where if you were to see it in the game, that's just everybody would love it. I mean, even when they throw interception, you ask the D-line if they want to block. They're like, I'm trying to find the quarterback to go block. They don't care about the offensive lineman.
All right, big run by Johnny Richardson up the right side with an outstanding downfield block by Ryan O'Keefe. Alec Holler opened up that lane right by the line. Your UCF's in the red zone again. They're down to about the 10-yard line.
This is where fresh legs pays off.
Here comes Brian O'Keefe on the pitch. There's a flag on the field, and he's going to get really close, but not quite. They finally gang tackle him, but hey, no quit there. He took a hit, spun around, tried to keep going. Took another hit, spun around, tried to keep going. It took 3 guys to bring him down. But we got a flag on the field. Let's see what the call is. And the way they're walking back, and UCF.
Trey, you can tell right away as a player, don't you? You can tell.
Oh yeah, you know, because we hear what they're talking about on the. I mean, it's crazy what you hear on the field, because sometimes the refs will kind of huddle up with and you're like, oh my goodness, you'll see the people walking the sticks back and then they go run the ball. I'm like, well, we know this was against us, so let's run it back, or All
right, well, it turns out it's actually on both teams and offsetting penalties, so we're going to do this again.
Yeah, see, they got to put them away.
Holding on the offense, offside on the defense. Let's do this dance all over again.
Yeah, right now they got to put them away. That was, to me, there's been quite a few holdings, and not just offense, even on kick return and stuff like that. So I think that to me, those are simple fixes. Just kind of change where your hands are, hand placement. Nothing that's a huge issue. Just kind of that's just stuff you work on. Got to work on a little bit more.
Let's see, 1st and goal, and Plumlee just design keeper, and he takes a lick at the very end. Now, the guy who actually hit him shaking up on the play, but, I mean, he took a good shot getting knocked over.
He'll feel it in the morning. He hasn't been hit since last year.
I mean that's a good solid hit.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing scrimmages, but even in live scrimmages, everybody's live except the quarterback, so. That's probably his first time getting some real hits.
They're both getting low. Both guys' helmet went into each other's shoulder pads. And, I mean, as you know, it's all about who can get lower.
Yeah, lowest man always wins.
Put that one up here. Let's see. Isaiah Bowser getting the handoff, and everyone's trying to push him in the end zone. They say he doesn't make it in. But, boy, that's fun to watch.
I'm still surprised he's still in the game.
He's
got a lot of starters. Yeah, I mean, this has been interesting. I'm really interested with
after this point. I mean,
you would think.
You're 21 carries. I know there's no benefit at this point. Touchdown UCF, Bowser up the middle for 1. That makes it 41-10. Gotta pull a plug on him at this point.
They're done, man. Yeah, they're done. They got to be done. That's 5 possessions. Yeah, you got to be done.
Yeah.
There's no way the defense should blow it. I'd probably start pulling some guys on. I'll probably leave them in. Maybe get some young guys in with some vets, and then in the 4th, you probably start putting in some of the younger guys.
I would start rotating some of the starters out on the next drive, maybe just rotating them. Like, you have them do their normal rotation and then come out.
Yeah, keep some young guys out there with some older guys. That way it's not, fully young, but you still have some guys. Yeah, definitely. That's what they should start doing. Ideally right here.
Yeah, at this point, there's nothing. One of the comments that I see, Eric, is about Plumlee has to be rewired as a quarterback. To that I say good luck. Because
I was just about to say it's too late for that.
He's an athlete playing quarterback. You're not going to rewire him.
Nope. The second you try to do that is where you lose the advantage of his instincts. You try to make him something that he's not, or make him into something that he's not. He's been doing this his entire life. He's been running around playing backyard football. That's his style. So you gotta run around. You have to build around it. And I think that's where, same thing with McKenzie. He was a backyard quarterback, and we built the offense to fit it. I remember every practice, they would do a 2-minute drill, and then the quarterbacks and receivers would do a scramble drill. And they had it, to perfection how they did. They were perfect at running it because that was McKenzie's style. When we had Justin Holman, we didn't really work on that. Holman was a lot more of a pocket passer. I think that's just, they got to build around his strengths. I think that's some stuff that they just have to build around and work on.
Right. You can work on the mechanic aspect. Like I remember with McKenzie from his first year to second year, he pushed the ball a lot less. He overthrew a lot. But that was the nature of that style. I always attribute like playing tennis. When you serve a ball in tennis, you have to put topspin on it to bring it down. If you don't push it, you have a very small window of it lands in or it goes long. And that first year, he pushed the ball a lot, but he learned how to bring it down because, I mean, he has a very unique throwing style. And it took a while. I know Mario Verduzzo worked with him a lot to bring that ball down because 2016 was my last year as a season ticket holder before I converted to media. And, that frustrated him no end to see those balls sail along. Like, no, wide open, 10 yards downfield.
Yep, exactly. This is one of those things where you can work on, like you said, those mechanical things. But the instincts and how he plays quarterback, you can't rewire them. I mean, you could try to. I would never do it because I think that takes away from what pros he brings as his play style. But it's tough. Even if you want to and try to, it's tough.
All right,
Trey. Trey, we will
number 3.
Yeah, Trey, we're gonna let you go because you've been incredible with us in this quarter.
No problem.
I wanted to make sure you left on a high note on a touchdown. That was my goal.
I appreciate it.
So nobody can blame you like what went wrong. But you're coming down for Louisville. I know you're coming up for the Louisville game.
Yep, I'll be up there next week. Next week I'll be up.
Well, there you go, Drew. You got to run into him. Drew.
Well, I mean, it all depends on where he's at. You know, maybe he'll send me a message. Let me know when he's there because I'll be there.
I'll let you know. We'll probably get there early because I don't know. I always want to go, look at the locker.
Of course, he is a football player. He could probably go anywhere on the field, whereas Drew is.
I don't know about that. I'll definitely walk around and see some people.
Very good.
Just interacting with everybody and talking to people.
Yeah, I can get there about 2 hours before kickoff, and I can go most places on the field before the game. There's a certain point where the non-photogs have to leave, but by then you want to get it set up anyway.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of time there. And then of course you can always go down to the field afterwards. But
yeah. So I'll be there. I think we're coming up Friday morning, so I'll pretty much be there all day. So
beautiful.
Just let me know.
Beautiful.
Excited.
All right,
for this game next week. It's Friday nights. These Louisville games. Things just happen. I mean, ESPN probably is like, you guys need to schedule yourselves again because, man, we have not had a bad game with you two.
Never. So it'll be special. So I'm ready. I'll probably be to that one and then homecoming most likely. I think we play Cincy on homecoming.
Yeah, homecoming. Yeah. Cincinnati. That'll be
definitely those.
That's an unusual opponent to have as homecoming. Usually you have kind of your opponents. Oh, yeah, let's just throw Cincinnati in there.
Yeah, they have a big game this weekend too. So I'm interested. Yeah, it's. I think they go. Do they go to Arkansas?
Yes. Yeah, Arkansas.
Yeah. So that's a big game.
It's on ESPN.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, they play at 3:30, but I'm excited.
3:30 kick,
man.
Yeah.
I was telling Elo that I'm excited that we've been waiting all spring and summer for it.
This is the best time of year. I mean,
best time of the year.
I'm a fall baby. Football is the greatest sport to come out of America. Sorry, baseball fans. Football is where it's at. I love baseball, but football is where it's at.
I'm a big baseball guy too.
I like even more than pros because there's an energy you can't replicate. You go to a stadium like the Bounce House, you're not going to find that kind of energy in a pro stadium. You're going to need to double the amount of fans to even get close to that.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty in all the college sports. The pageantry that goes into it. And just the true support because once you get to the pros, it's you're going to pay for the guys you want. You're going to pay for how good your team is for the most part. You have those teams like a couple of years, the Rays and the Royals, but for the most part, I don't know baseball wise, it's Yankees, it's Dodgers, it's Houston, it's the big markets. Mm-hmm. So and I'm
from Cleveland. I know all about small markets.
Yeah, I'm a Dodgers.
There we go.
So
there you go.
I went to a game last year, and some of those games are. I mean, that stadium is beautiful, but I think that's the beauty of college is just the energy of it. It's different. It's unmatched. It's different.
All right, Trey. Well, we'll let you enjoy the rest of the night. Enjoy the fourth quarter and the rest of it, and we'll see you for the Louisville game. But thanks for doing this, man.
All right.
Yeah,
no problem.
Man. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Have me.
We're definitely doing this again.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Let me know. All right. See you guys later.
All right. That is Trey Neal joining us, and just in time. It's like a tag, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us now to start the fourth quarter, the closer,
The close.
the co-host of the Sons of UCF podcast, host, co-host, and producer, you name it, of the Sons of UCF Live. They did a pregame show today. Adam Eaton joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Adam, how you doing?
Fellas, I am good. I feel bad. I mean, I feel bad, following Trey Neal. I mean, big shoes to fill. He's had a few more interceptions than I have.
You feel bad. I felt awkward. I felt like Drew wanted me to leave instead of Trey there. I mean, they clicked. They clicked right in it. I did leave. I took advantage. I'm not going to lie. I had to step away.
Trey and I were talking, and I sent a message to Eric, like, are you coming back? Because you didn't tell me
I am coming back. So it's, family called for a minute, so I had to take care of that.
It's all part of. I mean, yeah, my family call was calling my wife screaming at the TV again.
That's been the entertaining part of the stream, really. Honestly, it's been the wife reacting. I mean, it's been.
The door behind me is a slider. It's closed, and still she's in the living room, and still.
Yeah. Adam, the next time you have Drew on, make sure the wife's part of the show because her hot takes during the show during the broad has been interesting.
No, the key is you got to do it during a football game.
That's the key.
She gets into sports, or haven't you noticed?
Why are you pointing your beer at me? Yeah, last time we had Drew in the green room for the entire show. No, what do you got? Guinness? No, it's a little heavy for me. Yeah, we had Drew in the green room for the entire show. So maybe we'll have the entire Glukov family in there, just have them all in separate boxes, bring them up whenever.
Well, I don't have enough hookups for that.
Well, Adam, what's been your thoughts here? First three quarters, your thoughts, what you've seen.
I like Xavier Townsend running this punt return back here. Looks like he's about to take this to distance. The first special teams touchdown UCF's had, although it's coming back, it looks like, in a long time.
Of course it is, Adam. Of course it is. It's our special teams. Remember we did the round table with Jeff Allen on his podcast. What was I screaming about? The special teams. And it's been, once again, an issue tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. 21, it looks like the referee is mouthing Kai Martinez. What we got here? Holding. Yeah, a lot. Overall thoughts. How many shows? Too many, Trace. Offensive line looks a little shaky. I felt like, we had some talented guys coming back. Obviously, we're bringing in two guys new on both ends. That looks a little shaky. John Rice Plumlee, here's what I would tell you. That's a hold. Wow. Here's what I would tell you. I think he is a superb athlete. I think he's raw as a quarterback. Right. So can his athleticism take him to make winning plays? I think that's a storyline to follow throughout the year. Fantastic athlete. We've seen him make plays, but when he's had to make quarterback style decisions, precision style throws, I think that's where you're seeing challenges. I think the defense has looked pretty solid. And you talked about the special teams, another block punt, a hold penalty right there. Not a sharp unit. I'm concerned if this is the team we trot out against Louisville. I'm concerned about how that's going to turn out for us.
Don't forget a missed field goal too, right? Before the half.
I just count that. I just assume that's going to happen, though. I don't really. Is that new? I don't just assume that's going to be a thing every week. No. I'm also surprised how little Ryan O'Keefe
play with the Ryan O'Keefe. They still got starters out there. I don't get it. At this point, there's no real benefit. I mean, the areas that they need work on, but at this point, you're just opening yourself for injury. Yeah, okay. So leave Plumlee in to throw the ball a little bit because he needs to throw more. I'm not a huge fan of his decision making as far as some of his deep reads yet.
Adam, are you sure Gus is not in the pick'em pool you guys are running? Maybe he's in the pick'em pool, wants to make sure UCF covers.
Maybe, because right now they haven't quite covered yet.
They're 32, right? He's going to need at least a touchdown. I think it was 38.5 last time I saw it.
Yeah, I think that's what it locked in because I know the pool kind of picks a number and locks in it.
Yeah, so maybe he is. I need a Ryan O'Keefe touchdown. I have him in my prize picks this week.
I saw that. This is big for you here.
I need a touchdown out of O'Keefe here, so maybe this is my opportunity. I see a little shoulder move by that guy's wide open. Is he going to be in? I'll call her.
There you go. Zach
March-Wojan. Wow, dust off the cobwebs.
And almost overthrew that. That was some good field awareness with knowing the fact that sideline was getting really close or the back line.
But that's a good Malzahn style play, right? Because if you're the defense, you're not gonna really key in on Zach March-Wojan, right? So he's gonna get this little boundary throw here all day. Everyone's going to the middle. I mean, Gus can be an elite designer of plays at times if we can execute some of that stuff.
he got pulled in. The defender got pulled in on the pump of the wide receiver screen, and he broke off. That was it.
Barsky makes one. You got a drink. There you go.
And it's 49-10. That's a 39-point margin. That's kind of important right now. That's pretty important.
What do you guys think of Plumlee so far? Overall thoughts?
Well, obviously his legs are exactly as we expected. I think he needs to not drop his shoulder on runs quite as much. Be willing to slide a couple yards early. Don't take the hit that hard as often, because over the season it's going to beat you up. His decision making on deep passes still needs work. I mean, that pass to O'Keefe was threaded the needle, but against better defense, that's a deflection or an interception. So you've got to work on that. He seems to do well in the harder throws than the easy throws. That one to Gamble a drive ago where he did it on the run was it was a little underthrown because it forced Gamble to stop. But I mean, you're throwing across your body with a tight spiral and on target. That's not easy. That takes a lot of strength. So I'm really impressed with that aspect. I think his decision making still needs a little bit of work. You don't have to always go for broke. But despite what some of the internet people were saying, oh, he's just a one read and run guy, I have to say, no, he's not.
Adam, you want to respond? Football fan 26. It's so odd hearing Adam and not having someone angry, grumpy saying something immediately after.
You mean Trace?
Yes. I mean, Trace would just stop with the negativity. This is fun fact. Mike is actually texting me. He's downtown Fort Lauderdale at the Den watch party, hanging out with Rashad Kazi. So Mike's doing okay.
Up?
Man,
Kazi or Mike?
I've been down there in ages.
Yeah. One of them apparently is not standing as tall as the other. I'll let you figure out which one is which at this point.
49-10 UCF, Ace Hearts. UCF 49-10 is the lead.
Trace complained about how many shows does this Eaton guy do. Hey, imagine how I feel where Kyle Nash and Eric Lopez do all these shows. I mean, they're everywhere. And they don't invite the other Eric Lopez.
I hear you. No, let's talk for a second, Andrew. I feel like you and I can talk. These two are on like the Brevard Sports Minute, the Mark Moses show. I think I saw him on Dan Patrick the other day, and it's like, hey, there's other people on these shows. I mean, these two are hogging all the airwaves. My goodness.
Well, I'm surprised they're inviting Eric Lopez. I thought they invited a football guy to talk football.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yeah, I was upset. I saw Trace in an older photograph from when he was on previous networks, and luckily we got that switched out. He got the old Rocky Ross jersey photo changed out. But
I was going to ask about that photo. Yeah, where did that come from?
Yeah, it's just not. It's like a Grammy award, Andrew. It's just nice to be nominated. It's nice to be included at times. We'll take the nomination.
Greg Phillips with a big question for you, Adam. Here is Mike. Is he drunk?
Is that a question? That seems like a statement.
Mike's running a statement. Okay, well, it's an obvious.
It seems like a true.
And the sky is blue. The sun rises in the east.
Water's wet. The sun is hot. Usual. Do
you guys remember? I think it was last year. The Rams did this whole thing. Is water wet? And they had all the players answer that question. You guys remember that last year?
I do. Yeah.
And you got some pretty actually interesting answers. The one I like the most is water doesn't make you wet, or water is not wet, but it makes you wet. That was one of the more interesting answers I picked.
That's way too deep for me.
Way too deep there. Adam, now you've had the chance to listen to the broadcast. Leger Duzerbo, who you had on Sons of UCF, we had on Banner.
We should really coordinate that better next time, by the way. We should really work together on that stuff.
Accidental. Yeah. What's been your thoughts on the broadcast? Obviously, me and Drew have been on, so we haven't listened to it. Him and Richard Cross. They had Gabe Davis on for the parts of the third. What's been your thoughts? What can you say about the podcast?
Man, I really want to. I really, he's a fellow Knight. I think in short windows, Leger struggles a little bit. I think he needs a little bit more time to talk. I think he's better pregame, better talking through, previews of shows. When he's got short bites, short windows, I don't know if he's as crisp and as articulate and as knowledgeable as he came across with us and with you all as well too. So I think the short windows is where he's got to do a little bit of improvement. To be fair, if you think about what he does, he's got the 2-hour radio show with I Am Athlete on Sirius XM. He does a bunch of stuff for CBS and the Jets. He's got a much longer runway to talk there. I think these 5, 7, 10, second snippets, he's a little bit shaky on those.
I think he needs more game reps too. I mean,
Yeah.
I think this is his second year doing games
It
on
is.
Plus, and it takes a while to find that rhythm. Especially that first game is tough.
Well, I think the other thing with these ESPN Plus broadcasts, and Eric, you know this better than the rest of us, is you're not working with the same announcer crew every time. So he's got to get used to another play-by-play guy almost every game.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to get that synergy. I mean, you both know doing shows together. After a while, you learn each other's mannerisms, when one is done talking, when the other one should pick up the slack. I think it takes some time to kind of warm into that. And I think he's really knowledgeable. I loved his insight when he was with us this week, but I think in the shorter windows, I think he's got to get some improvement there.
I'm going to take it up a notch and say, not only do you learn about about when one stops and one starts, is you also learn how to piss them off. And I enjoy doing that with some of these guys on this show.
He's very good at it, Evan. Very good.
I've heard. You take yeah. Who do you like annoying them most, Andrew? If you had to pick one of the Banneret crew, who's the one that you really it really excites you when you got him?
I mean, well, I've known Kyle for 21 years, so you got to put an asterisk around that, an asterisk on that, because that's not fair. I think pissing off Eric is the easiest, but Jeff is more fun.
That's fair. That's a fair comment.
But Eric is much more emotional, so it's easy to kind of get his blood boiling.
It's what makes me a good play-by-play guy. You got to bring it.
It does. You need that emotional connection to get into the game. You basically have to, or either a good actor or just an emotional person. He has to, get into the role that he's in. Jeff's just fun to piss off because when he gets angry, it's just funny. It's like you want to pat his head, be like, good boy. I mean, it's hilarious.
We got 12:26 left, but look, Plumlee's got his helmet back on.
I just
on
saw
that
the same
shot.
thing you did. Yeah.
Plumlee's got his helmet back on.
Let's see. We'll see though.
Oh, punt! Oh, block punt. Could this be our special teams touchdown, Quadric Bullard? Here we go.
It's sitting right in the end zone.
There we go.
There it is.
Hey, we got a special teams play.
But
Plumlee, take your helmet off now.
I want to point out that's where you get sometimes with rugby style, because he's switched between rugby style and traditional. Rugby style takes longer to set, and you open yourself up to a block. And I mean, he basically took the longest, process to take his steps to kick. I mean, it was a gold mine to just block that.
This is the quintessential example of for me of a guy quote unquote feeling himself. He had that nice fake, got the first down, tried it again, punted 17 yards past the line of scrimmage. And I think he got a little bit excited. Now he thinks he's a playmaker. You guys see that Coach 30 stuff on Twitter where the guy does like the fake film breakdown where he basically makes fun of the players. I feel like this is a quintessential Coach 30 breakdown there, and Eric DeSalvo right in the picture there. Fantastic.
He's worthy of the Simpsons. At least you tried, cake.
It was that little crow hop he took. He took that crow hop for no reason, right?
It was a crow hop, yeah.
Why? Hang your head in shame.
56-10. So just like that, boys, we got a blowout, right?
I guess Adam needs to come on more.
Adam, you brought like 2 touchdowns as soon as you walked.
You are welcome. Yeah, it was tough for a while. I mean, we all. What are your thoughts mid second quarter, past halftime? There was a bit of a slog fest there. Did you have concern, or did you think, hey, at some point the UCF's going to figure out a way to kind of get past this muck?
I didn't have concerns so much. It was more of just a momentum thing. They made a mistake with that led to the fumble. And the left side of the line really struggled in the first half. They just were having trouble getting it together, and the momentum was swinging. But the truth is, at the end of the day, talent was just too much, and you knew UCF was going to find a way to get back into rhythm. It just took longer than anticipated, and UCF's known for having these third quarter lulls. We've seen them for years. So I was like, okay, well, this is kind of textbook at this point.
So now that we've seen a little bit of actual game time, do you think the offensive line play factored into the QB decision at all?
Absolutely. I said it.
Drew's been on this for a while.
I've been extremely critical on the offensive line. They had depth problems last year. They didn't really fix them. You plugged in with the transfer portal, but the thing is with transfer portal, a lot of times you get leftovers.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's hard to get them in the right spot, get them gelled, get them settled down. And we're seeing that. Tylen Grable struggled a bit during camp, eventually settled in, struggling today to really kind of find any rhythm. I think part of it could be, first game jitters. The bounce house is not Jacksonville State by any stretch of the imagination. It's a much more hostile place to play. Even if you're on offense, it's still probably louder than it is at Jacksonville State. But I was very much in the camp of the legs of Plumlee played a role because of the questionable offensive line play. And we've seen results of that, especially design runs to the right side more than the left, because the left, you've been seeing Johnny Richardson go kind of behind the line by a big margin to make his cut up. But on the right, you're seeing more cuts up the guard tackle lines in those gaps. And that's because of the play, the overall play. What do you think, Eric?
UCF here in the fourth. I tend to agree. Agree with that. I think that's all valid. And I think, look, I think all of us, the three of us, we were pretty on the same page. I listened to your picks, Adam. You've got him losing 2 games. You don't know where. Me and Drew both have him at 2 losses. I got him losing to Houston on the title game. I think we're kind of in, the question is, does anything tonight change your mind on that? I think we're on the same wavelength. This is a good team, but there are definitely big questions circled here moving forward. And I got to give Trace credit. Trace picked them to lose to Louisville next week. So that, certainly is concerned going into next week with some of the things we're seeing tonight.
Yeah, I will say, looking at this game, I don't feel like we're going into Louisville with like, hey man, we're gonna get them. I think I haven't seen anything that tells me that, hey, we're gonna smash Louisville. I think if you're Louisville, you watch this tape and you find opportunities to, understand where our weaknesses are at. And I think a lot of it's going to come to Plumlee. Again, I think he's a superb athlete. I think he's raw as a quarterback. So if Louisville or any defense can make him try to be a true quarterback, what happens next? How does he respond to that? It's interesting. I don't know if it's the game plan. I don't know if it's just the way, South Carolina State's playing. It seems like he's really keying in on Javon Baker. And I don't know if that's just a connection he's built. You're not seeing a lot of Ryan O'Keefe. I think Ryan O'Keefe has that one catch. Everything outside of that, I think he's got some of that behind the line of scrimmage stuff. Kobe Hudson,
Gamble. It's been Baker and
Kobe
Gamble,
Hudson off the fingertips, no catches. Gamble has been the other guy. So I'm curious if that's just where he's locking in on his read, if that's what the defense is giving him. But, he's got a lot of playmakers on the offense. I'm curious to see, what that chemistry looks like with the rest of the team going forward. Because we know Mikey Keene had a really good relationship with Ryan O'Keefe. They had a really good synergy. And, yes, a lot of that stuff was behind the line of scrimmage or 10 yards or fewer. But I'm curious to see how that connection develops between Plumlee and some of those other guys.
Well, something to keep in mind also is, O'Keefe's your number 1 receiver, and he's going to get the number 1 coverage. So Baker, really talented. We knew he was going to be good. Kobe Hudson just absolutely raved about him. They've known each other for years. In fact, Hudson pitched for him to come over here. He's going to take the number 2 guy, and you can exploit that. Now, in this case, you're dealing with an FCS program. You're not going to have 2 strong corners, so you take advantage of that. But against other teams, it may be a little bit more balanced out. You may see the 3rd guy take some. But you look at it, Baker 5 catches, Bowser 4, Richardson, O'Keefe, Gamble, Griffin 3 catches, and then Marsh Wojan obviously had the 1 touchdown. So you're at least seeing distribution of the ball. That's what I'm more happy with, is you're seeing a large distribution. The thing about O'Keefe that I can see where people be concerned, you take out 1 catch, which was 45 yards. He has 2 catches for 2 yards.
Yeah.
But how much of this, too, we don't know how much of the playbook is really being shown tonight, right? Like, how much of this is vanilla? Like, there might be some stuff they have in mind that they may use next week that they're not using tonight, where other guys get more involved.
Well, it all comes to what's available.
Right.
The guy's open, you throw it to him. If he don't, if he doesn't, you don't. But Yeah, you're right. They're not going to do anything really.
I think on defense, I've been really impressed with the night position. Justin Hodges and Nakai Martinez have both made really good plays when they've been in that sort of night position package. And I'm going to say it now, Walter Yates III, which sounds like he should be like a butler for some sort of a family in Bel Air. That's his second nice big play coming in tonight. I know we've talked about the linebacker depth. We've talked about obviously about JJB being the stalwart. And who's that second linebacker, Jason Johnson. Yates has played well. I don't think we've seen Terrence Lewis yet on the field, which is interesting. I
have not, but he's not in. Terrence Lewis is not in the 2 deep.
Yeah.
Brandon Jennings, the other transfer from Maryland, is.
He's in right now, I believe. Yates with the tip right there. He could have had a pick. That's Jennings right there behind him. Yeah.
But you're going to see obviously more of the backups coming in.
Right, which is interesting. Which is interesting. We're probably going to see Castellanos and not Mikey Keene, I would think, right? At quarterback, or is that what we're thinking here? I mean,
I would like to see Castellanos more.
The last cutaway, Castellanos had his helmet on. I don't know if he just walks around with his helmet on, or if that was instructive of what's happening next. But he has his helmet on.
I mean, I would think this would be a better time for him because you're dealing with a less talented defense. It works as a bridge to kind of work your way up in the speed of the college game. And Keene's going to get his shots. He's going to get his opportunity elsewhere during the year. And you want your youngest guy who's not, you don't want to put him up against, the top defense for Tulane. No, you'd rather have him go up against, the FCS school. So you pick your shots.
And you're curious with your background, if you're Gus Malzahn, if you walk into the team meeting, whatever, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, what are the 3 areas you want them to clean up?
Quarterback decision making, and not only throwing but running. That includes dropping the shoulder. The last thing you want is a torn rotator cuff, a separated shoulder in that non-throwing shoulder, or torn labrum. As I said earlier, I've had 2 torn labrums, and I've tried to play sports with them. It doesn't work. You saw what happened to Baker Mayfield last year. It doesn't work because you start compensating for it. The other thing is elementary stuff like drops. If it hits your hands, you need to bring it in. Getting the receivers and quarterback on the same page. It looks like there was a number of plays that there was miscommunications. Guy was supposed to go up, he went out. And I think play, and this would be more about the coaches. I think workload management needs to be something that needs to be talked about within the coaching room. I'm sorry, there's no justification for running Isaiah Bowser as many times as you did, even though you wanted to.
I was surprised by that one. I was surprised by that.
You need to, and penalties, pointed out very well by Football Fan 28. Penalties, special team. Yes. My God. I mean, this is elementary stuff. If you block, sure, you push them up there, but you let go of them. You don't hit guys from behind, which I haven't seen any blocks in the back, but I've seen a slew. Let
me ask you both this: do we overrate? Well, we have all these great running backs. At the end of the day, it doesn't seem like in Gus's style he likes to play a ton of them. It seems like he likes to write 1 or 2 backs. Yeah. But it doesn't excuse tonight. But I'm just saying, it seems to me he's just going to go with Bowser and Richardson here. That's what my takeaway from tonight.
We'll see. 55 minutes or whatever left, gone in this game. We've only seen Richardson and Bowser. We have not seen Mark Anthony Richards. We have not seen RJ Harvey. So it's interesting to think through. And at this point, I think Johnny's been a little bit more explosive than Isaiah. Bowser looks, and I'm going to ask you guys this question too. Maybe it's just my TV. Bowser looks skinnier this year to me. He looks a little smaller this year to me than he did last year. I know he did the yoga, the Pilates. I don't know if he was on some sort of Jillian Michaels program. I don't really know, but he looks a little bit skinnier this year, a little smaller this year than last year. Am I misreading that?
Well, I mean, he's 6'1", 220. So, I mean, he's, they say black is a nice slimming color. So maybe it's the uniform.
Okay. New uniforms. Fair enough. That's the way that 5 angles with the new fonts really cuts his.
That's an interesting point. I do wonder if he did, cut some weight, because of the injuries last year. Was that maybe part of the message? Like, hey, I need to be slimmer to stay healthier. That's an interesting point, though. I didn't think about that until you just brought it up, Adam.
Again, he looks, just naked eye, he looks a little thinner, skinnier, smaller than last year. Now, I could be completely, just overlooking that. But he looks a little smaller than he did last year.
It sounds like a reckless speculation part of the.
Maybe it's that helmet. He's got on that new helmet with the face mask like built into it. I don't know what you call that thing. It looks a little weird. It looks a little spaceship-esque kind of helmet situation. I know you guys aren't. You guys aren't the uniform podcast. I know.
Au contraire, good sir.
Now you open up a
Au
can of worms.
contraire. Unlike some others, I give it honest and truthful and not blowhard smoke.
I've heard there's some, the number one UCF podcast out there. Nice play by Kerwin Street, by the way. He's been a name that you've heard a few times.
But to answer your question, I was actually pulling up the roster. Isaiah Bowser last year listed at 225. Now he's listed only at 220. So 5-pound difference.
Okay. I wish I lost 5 pounds. I look that different. My goodness. I got to get on whatever he's on.
Pilates.
I can't do Pilates.
And massive amounts of yoga and probably some really good diet.
I'd pull a groin just thinking about that stuff.
It's been a lengthy drive here for South Carolina State here.
Well, they are playing against the second unit, so obviously the defensive quality has decreased a bit. You're going against a younger group, but hey, you're still getting some guys like Yates right there making plays. He's technically second in the 2 deep and just part of the rotation. I got to give these linebackers credit. That first unit looks solid. And as you know, you got the 2 linebackers, Jean Baptiste. You've got either Jason Johnson or Yates the third. And then you got Hodges, and he, as you mentioned before, Adam, Hodges has just had an outstanding game from that night. And it's such a hard role to fill because you're expected to have the speed of a DB and the power of a linebacker. And as Trey said beforehand, before you got on, also the mind of a safety. You're expected to do everything at that point because they may drop you. They'll drop you as a nickel back, or they'll bring you up as part of a 4-3, or they'll move you like a safety would. Obviously, that's not easy, and these guys are doing it. Especially Martinez, a freshman, he's doing it.
Yeah. I mean, offensively, next week against Louisville, there may be challenges. How do you both feel about the defense going against Louisville? Obviously, Malik Cunningham carved us up pretty good last year. Defense has been pretty solid tonight. Offensively, we may have some struggles. How do you feel about the defense matching up with Louisville next week?
I'll tell you one thing, Drew. I mean, I feel this this team's tackling better than they were last year at this time. Remember last year?
Oh, yeah, I was up in arms with the tackling quality at this point last year. I wrote very nasty things about it.
What does that look like, Drew, when you're up in arms? Are you just like, what does that look like? Okay.
Actually, when Trace and I were in Tampa for that debacle of the basketball game, I was the call.
Drew hasn't forgiven Trace for that.
No, actually, Trace is actually the guy I want to go hang out with when the team loses because he was so much fun to hang around. I mean, the guy, I thought he was going to run on the court and start hitting people. He was getting so angry. It was hysterical. And I'm the calm one. I'm just like, I mean, all you can hear is the
I like hanging out with Trace regardless of the result of the game, but that's just me.
He doesn't want me around anymore. He doesn't invite me around.
I think he's blaming you for that loss in basketball. I really do.
I don't blame me.
Fair enough. As long as you're conscious, if you sleep well, Andrew, that's really all that matters, right? I mean, you just got to worry about you.
I do feel good about the defense. I think they're ahead of the offense, but they're going from a different level. They're going from this level to Malik Cunningham, who that's going to be. We're going to learn a lot about the defense.
Here's the question, guys. Something to think about. Do you take Hodges and use him as a spy against Cunningham? He has speed. He can tackle.
I think the larger question, and I said this on our show a few weeks ago, and all due respect to Terrence, to Travis Williams, he's done a fantastic job as the second half of the year moved on. He got embarrassed in that game. Well, let's just call it what it is. Like that Louisville flat out just out schemed his defense. We had Montalvo on the defensive end. Now there were injuries and all that stuff. I feel like he got out schemed pretty heavily against Louisville. This is a revenge game for him. I'm curious to see how he responds to your point, Andrew. Does he have a spy? Does he do something different? What did he learn? We all forget he's a fantastic coach. He's a great recruiter. Last year was his first year as calling a defense. right? So, he's got to learn. He's got to take his lumps as a coach too. What did he learn from that? What did he learn from Navy? Those are two games I'm really curious to see his maturation. We talk about, the pay T well, and he's the next coach, and maybe he is, by the way. But what did he learn from that as a first-year DC now going into year 2? That's what I'm curious to see, that chess match, because I hope a guy like him, who we know is competitive, I hope he's been stewing on this all year long, all summer long, thinking about how am I going to stop number 3 at Louisville.
I'm going to say any of these guys who played in that game last year should be, this is the UCF revenge tour. They got every one of the teams that they lost to at home. I mean, this is the most favorable schedule I have ever seen. You leave the state 3 times.
I mean, Houston would like a word. They got a pretty easy schedule.
Not like this. Not this easy. UCF, Louisville's not a bad team, but they're not a great team either. And they only leave the state 3 times against Memphis, East Carolina, and Tulane. That's it. Everything else is in the state. And you get all the teams that beat you at home. I mean, for a team leaving the conference, boy, they got a sweetheart deal there. Now they just got to utilize it and take advantage of it.
I also will point out in T-Well there, he was probably still learning what the personnel he had and what he could
for sure.
do too.
Game of the year, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious. He's had now a year under his belt. He knows this team better. He knows obviously what Louisville does better. He's learned his team. He's gotten more comfortable in his own defensive, coordinator skin, calling games. What does he dial up? That's what I'm really curious to say. I think the offense is what it is, but I mean, let's be fair. Offensively, at least last year, and obviously Dylan Gabriel was quarterback at that point. We held their own. It was the defense that really had some challenges. What does that response look like this year?
Yeah,
also, nice to see Jarvis Ware out there, by the way. Jarvis obviously hurt last year.
Saw him a little bit earlier in the game.
Yeah.
And after missing the season, it's good to see him back out there.
By the way, the spread on the pool pick'em, I just looked, is 38.5.
Yeah, they lock the points in.
I'm in trouble.
What'd you pick, SC State?
I did, yeah. I did.
So you need
we had Ernest Johnson on our live show, and he talked me into it. He was like, "Man, we got some receivers on the outside. We're gonna play." I was like, "Man, this guy seems like he knows what he's talking about." His fantasy lineup a little shaky, but he seemed like he knew what he was talking about with the team. So if they punch one in here, I feel much better.
You got hooked.
I might have, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Kobe Perry. There you go.
Now, FanDuel had it at 43.5. I don't care about that. I'm in this poll pick'em. All right, because me and Drew, we wiped out with. Now, Adam was, in fairness, Adam.
I tied.
He did his part. You did your part.
I tied Drew. Drew and I tied.
I did win on tiebreaker.
Your boys let you down.
True.
Your boys
probably
let you down. Mike and Trace let you down.
That's not surprising.
Have
you seen the show, Eric?
I have. And we got you guys
put together, or we're gonna have to replace you.
Yeah, because we got a youngster named Bryson Turner who's talking smack. He wants to beat Trace up in this pick'em. He's in the pick'em. It's 3-on-3 here. Banner Red and Sons of UCF.
Holy moly! This guy, when it's not air, he's full of violence and hate. Yeah, I mean, he talks about how he's gonna.
Never heard of him.
Not only beat him, he's gonna beat him badly. Cry for mommy and everything.
Is he new? I never heard of him. Does he do those spaces? I'll have to check on that.
No. Oh man, we're terrible people. I love myself.
Oh, man, that's funny.
You're a uniform guy, then, right? You're telling me you're a uniform guy. What do you think of the high white socks with this outfit?
Well, I mean, it looks a little odd, just because you kind of got the black all the way down. But I'm telling you, the TV numbers, the fact that they sublimated the Pegasus again so that it kind of blends in when you're in a distance, this uniform looks really barren once you get past the front number. They need something, either the Pegasus at a different color that pops, or they need a number of it. Look up. I mean, it's like you're in the desert.
Yeah, I would have gone black socks with this combo. I guess maybe that's the night mode or whatever they're calling it.
No, that's a whole different jersey. That's a black and gold combo. Apparently, Terry Mohajer wanted no white anywhere on the uniform.
I heard.
They made. As he said, in regards with the pewter, that they look like pajamas. I humbly disagree. I thought they were a great off color.
I believe he called it a practice jersey. He thought they were in practice jerseys. When they played Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, really, man? And like, I can get rid. I understand getting rid of anthracite because anthracite and black we're too close to each other. But the gray just made a nice offsetting color to just do something a little different. But at least they didn't go gold because that is a travesty and a crime against humanity.
Goal line stand for UCF. So
That's nice.
That's big for a lot of people.
Full tracker friends out there.
The betting fans are like, yes.
That's big. But now, Adam, you're coming to the Louisville game. Everybody's coming to the Louisville game.
I will be at the Louisville game.
All right,
you guys, we have a tailgate set up. You guys coming by? We're right same spot we were last year.
I will be there. I don't know if Eric will be there, but I'll be there because I'm going to be in the box. I'll be at every home game except going forward except Navy. Like Trace, I'm going to have to do it remote because of a work issue. But I'll be at the other games. So, I'll come hang out. I hung out one of your tailgates last year.
Yeah, we're doing the same spot next year.
Oh, cool. Also, right by
Night Walk, right by the stage there. Yep.
All right, yeah, count me in.
There you go. Even if I'm not there, I will be there because Andrew represents me. Just remember.
Okay. So not only did our time mistakenly call me Eric Lopez, but when I went to the USF game with Trace, they gave me my credential. It says Eric Lopez on it. I kid you not. I'm like, because Eric put the request in, but it was under my name. So they gave Eric the credential, and so eventually got it changed. It's the only USF credential I kept because they just slapped a little piece of a little label tape on top with G Andrew on it. I mean, it was totally screwed up, and underneath it still says Eric Lopez. If you look hard enough.
It's the cows. I mean, you're lucky you figured that out. Also, update, by the way, Backyard Brawl, West Virginia up 31-24.
It's been a good game. I've had that
I'm going to put the Mountaineers on this. Aside from the fact
Me too.
I don't like the city of Pittsburgh for slightly.
Are we just rooting for Big 12 teams this year? Is that what we're doing this year? Are we rooting for Big 12?
Yes, I think so.
I don't like the city. I have a thing against it.
And Elo, I know you're a tennis guy right now. Fanini up 5-2 in the first set against Nadal.
Well, Fanini beat Nadal a few years ago at the U.S. Open,
yeah.
So I'll have that on during night shift when we shift from the watch along to night shift. Later.
We're having a very busy day.
Is there special music when that happens, or is there some sort of cutover?
No, we just turn it off. We don't have the budget you have. We just literally turn it off.
You want me to? I'll send you something if you want a little rejoin there. Castellanos in the game, by the way, incomplete pass.
There we go. The Thomas Castellanos era here beginning. With a $141.
I'm glad they put him in, just to get his feet wet a little bit. Even though
it's a minute 41 to go.
It doesn't matter. You're getting game time. There's no replacement for that. You're going up against a team that's not your own. You can't replicate that unless you're going in an actual game.
Let Jordan McDonald in too. All right, we got two freshmen back there.
Jordan McDonald. One of our audience asked if we would see Jordan McDonald. So here you go.
Let that clock run.
Didn't know Mario was a big Fanini fan. Look at that in the chat.
Yeah, you brought in the tennis fan out of him.
Who knew? Who knew?
Either that or he's just anti-Nadal. I mean, could be that.
I don't know about Nadal. Nadal's insufferable at times, but
you live long enough. You die the hero. You live long enough to become the villain.
Boy. Get down, Castellanos. Get down, buddy. Don't hurt anybody. Here we go. Ooh. Oh, helmet's off. That's not impressive. He's got to come out for a play.
That's what I see. He admitted it. He's a Nadal hater. That's what it is. Either he's are you a pro Federer guy, pro Djokovic? I don't know what that's all about. Anyway,
is anybody pro Djokovic?
Not these days.
Is that thing?
Not these days. Not these days. Let's see.
Elo, your thoughts on Nick Kyrgios while we're here?
Exactly, but people like to watch him play, so he's entertaining.
He's entertaining. If he's playing, I will watch.
He's entertaining.
You're not alone. The viewership goes up when he's watching. There you go. See,
Yeah.
Mario's a Federer guy. You learned something, Adam. You've learned now.
Yeah.
Mario's
There you go.
Federer tennis guy.
Yeah, Kyrgios, he's funny. He's entertaining, but he's a clown.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. It's my favorite thing is when he misses a point and yells at his box for not cheering loud enough for him. That's my
Castellanos' helmet just go off there. I just saw his helmet.
It looks like they called a timeout.
Took a timeout though.
He likes to run too.
I'd like to point out in the preseason poll, we were part of that, and we dogged Cincinnati into 4th place, so we helped Houston win that.
Wait, you guys have a vote in that poll? Who doesn't have a vote in this poll? Trace has one. Apparently just me and Mike, which is probably fair, by the way.
Yeah, but Trace probably went UCF, Houston, Cincinnati, or Cincinnati, Houston, because I mean, it's Trace.
He didn't reveal his ballot.
He did.
You better tell us, hey, I'm your boss.
So.
Show it.
I don't believe so.
There's the preseason poll. There.
Oh boy, here we go. That's freshman.
Oh man,
Oh, right in the tackle.
Down to the wire. How much? What's going to be the most overanalyzed thing of this game, though? Like, I feel like we're going to overanalyze this, and that's rightfully so. We need content, but like, there's going to be
kicking game.
Well, we're definitely going to drill that, but I feel like some of this too. We got to remember it's just the first game, right? I mean, we kind of, or you have legitimate concerns.
Trace did say UCF, Houston.
I see that.
Oh, there you go. Breaking news here on the watch along.
I think it's going to be the offense stalled there for a period of time, and I think it's going to be that portion of it. Is it a Plumlee? Is it play calling? Is it offensive line play? I think it's going to be that stall the offense had for a while there, and what you can do there. I think second to Andrew's point, it really will be special teams. That was not a sharp unit. Obviously, missed a field goal, a block punt, hold on a touchdown by Xavier Thompson. I think that's going to be another element as well. Brian Blackman, not time to be not doing your best effort, my friend, and not a good time for you.
Maybe a little distracted. I don't know.
Yeah, not a good time to not be on point, my friend.
But that's the game. UCF a winner 56-10. They play next week at home next Friday against Louisville, as you can see on ESPN2. Circle that game. That's part of the Revenge Tour. And as you know, we were on talking about the Suns are going to have a tailgate. Come hang out with them.
Adam, tell the audience about where they can find you and what you guys got planned, because I know you got a lot of stuff planned for the Louisville game.
Yeah, just Sons of UCF on Twitter. You can find us. But if you're at the stadium, we'll be right by where the tailgate stage is at, where the Dave Matthews cover band will be playing. Right there by the field house, right there by Nightwalk. Literally the first tent there. So wander over there. If you have another tailgate, that's fine. Wander over on your way to the stadium. Give yourself like 10 extra minutes. I think we have a sponsor picking up the tab for some beverages. So perhaps some beverages will be there. These lovely shirts that I have on here, we'll have a bunch of those to hand out as well. Honestly, man, it's just good to hang out. I mean, it's been too long for all of us UCF family to get together. So just happy to hang out with people, even if it's you, Andrew. Stop on by. Happy to have you. This Bryson guy, though, I don't know about this Bryson guy. I got to figure that out. Yes, that'll get you a free drink right there.
Oh, that's too much. And then you got the podcast this week. Comes out what, Tuesday?
Do we? Yeah, no, probably Tuesday. We have podcast, the audio version, and live show Thursday. Mike's actually lined up some guests while he's at this thing, so we'll see how that works out.
Oh, wow.
Hey, you get to you get things.
Yeah, well, that's the problem is I'm not so sure who's showing up. Mike's got all these things booked. We'll see what happens on Thursday at 8 p.m. when everyone logs in. But no, live show Thursday.
You're doing other shows too. You're like me. You got like multi hats going on right now.
Yeah, I've been doing some stuff with Mike Farrell, obviously formerly of Rivals. He's got his own show he started. He's kind of branched out doing his own thing. So we've been doing a show with him each week. I think we're recording something tomorrow, actually, if I have my schedule correct. So I'll be.
That's really cool.
Mike is a little bit random to work with. I mean, I thought I had one mic that was a problem. I've now inherited a second mic. That's a problem.
Maybe Mike's are just problems.
Yeah, I don't know which one's worse, actually. I got to do a show just about that specifically. But no, you can follow Mike's stuff, MikeFarrellSports.com, probably once, twice a week from that standpoint.
That's good, man. Good work. Of course, check out Jeff Allen's podcast this week. Adam and I made history. We've been on the last 2 episodes there. We did the TV media chat.
That Troy Aikman interview, Elo, you recommend? That was good. That was interesting.
He's just on fire, man. He's just letting it all out. He wants to,
there's more. There's more there. He didn't tell. I want the behind the scenes on that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I mean, you guys talk. Oh, I'm on this show. Well, crap. I have like a cup of coffee, and that's about it. Like, damn it! I feel insignificant.
Aren't you on Student of the Game? You're not on Student of the Game. That's not you?
No, that's Cal Nash, and he does more than I do.
You were on our
keep,
time. You got an.
I got to keep you straight. Yeah.
I did get on. And Trace still, I don't think will look me in the eye over that.
Yeah.
Are you in the spaces or no? That's not you either.
No,
Dudes in the mall? Are you on Dudes in the Mall?
I never even heard of it.
That's not nice.
No, it's true. I've never heard of it.
I heard. I'm not going to go there. All right, Adam. This has been a pleasure. This was
always fun, gentlemen. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing this. And all right, so for those who are tuning in, we're going to sign off for now in about 10 minutes. Me and Drew will be on the other feed here on the YouTube channel as well as on our Twitter handle and on Facebook for the night shift post game. Me and Drew will recap this game. We'll hope to have Kyle Nash, the aforementioned Kyle Nash, from the stadium, somewhere in the stadium. Will he have a suit on, Drew? Is that the word? He
won't have a full suit, but he will have a shirt and tie. That is his shtick. He will not compromise for anyone. So don't even bother trying to give him a Suns shirt because he won't wear it unless
good to know.
Tie involved.
Good to know.
Now I'll wear it. I'll wear it away from the game because I don't work for the Suns, so it's gonna be kind of weird if I wore it today. I think Trace would rip that thing right off me.
I think that's like a portal. That would be like tampering. I think at that.
I'm not so sure Trace would be that mad and rip anything off of you, but what do I know? I don't know.
All right, Drew, you got somebody watching. You got someone that needs to attend. So we're gonna let you go.
You got a stalker, Drew.
Yeah. All right, for Drew, Adam Eaton. Thank you, Adam.
See you guys.
I just told her she was heard the whole game. They loved you. They loved more of you
on the show. I mean, we might even book you on Suns. We can make something.
Are you? Yeah, because Mike's not gonna really pull this off. So if you're free 8-10 Thursday, let me know.
Now she can hear you. They want you because you're entertaining and apparently more fun than I am.
I don't doubt that. I mean, I'll spend my money later.
This could be your new podcast right here, Andrew. You wanted more shows. This could be it right here for you.
Seriously, we got a show. We have the room.
For the record, Terry does have to say at times, please don't troll your wife.
All right.
Apparently the dog peed.
Oh. What a great way to end the watch along here, I say.
Here's my little monkey. Here's Lily. Say hi. She's
getting shy.
Yeah.
It's a big celebrity. Adam's a big celebrity.
We're scary. Yeah.
It's scary. That's scary thought. All right. We're going to let Drew handle family stuff. Adam, we're going to let Adam go.
Hey, guys. Go Knights. Charge on.
Charge on.
Check us out on Night Shift here momentarily, folks.